Last Friday, 4 witnesses testified about alleged misconduct at IDEC. The commission heard that Johnson had a questionable relationship with tainted crime intelligence officer Feroz Khan. Tabiso Koba reports.
In his testimony, retired Hawks Colonel Kobus Rulovse revealed that when Johnson was a senior prosecutor, she allegedly squashed an assault case laid against Khan. The Investigative Directorate Against Corruption was established to investigate and prosecute high-profile complex financial crimes. Its initial purpose was to be a force multiplier to the SAPS. However, the two government entities have had a difficult relationship, with their internal factional battles spilling into the public arena. More recently, IDEC issued arrest warrants for 2 senior SAPS generals, but they were later suspended because the pair formed part of the team responsible for ensuring security arrangements were in place for the 30 June nationwide protests. The commission will be probing whether there's criminal influence behind these factional battles. Tabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
More than 30 years into South Africa's democracy, some rural communities are still forced to cross dangerous and fast-flowing rivers to access basic healthcare. A group of frustrated residents has built a makeshift bridge over the Tubatse River linking 2 villages near Beggersfort in Limpopo. EWN's Alfara Mushwana travelled to the province and filed this report.
That is the sound of the Tubatse River, with its raging waters surging downstream. For decades, residents have relied on what they call CYY, which is a makeshift raft to cross from Mafarafara to Gataung. But now a makeshift bridge built from wooden logs, corrugated iron sheets and sticks has come to their rescue. The bridge looks fragile, with the raging river brushing against the wooden logs beneath the bridge's surface. But 55-year-old Nelly Marale says despite it being unstable, the bridge is still far better than having to swim across.
I'm afraid every time I have to cross this bridge, but I do it either way because it's the only way to get to the clinic. The men charge us 20 rand to cross, but it's still better than swimming across.
The Fetahomu Tubatse local municipality says it is aware of the challenges residents face in accessing the local clinic and will escalate the matter to the provincial government. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Beggersfort in Limpopo.
An inquest into the death of Anele Tembe is expected to start in the Cape Town Magistrates Court this week. Tembe died after falling from the 10th floor of the Pepper Club Hotel in 2021. She was engaged to slain musician Keenan aka Forbes at the time. They were together at the hotel when the tragedy happened. Carlo Peterson has more.
Tembe was 22 years old when she died. Her death was previously ruled as a suicide, a finding that has long been disputed by her family. 6 witnesses are expected to testify during the 3-day inquiry this week. The inquest will examine the evidence surrounding Tembe's death and determine whether anyone can be held responsible. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
And at least 27 people have been killed and 8 left critically injured after a fire tore through a bar in Bangkok. Firefighters were called to the scene in the Chatukchak district just after midnight and discovered patrons escaping the flames. Eyewitnesses say the fire started near the bar stage and spread rapidly, cutting power and filling the room with smoke. Footage posted on social media shows flames blasting out of the bar as people are seen running out, some screaming and some falling over. The Prime Minister Anut Chakuruk says the official cause of the fire is still under investigation.
And everybody tried to free themselves from the smokes and the flame. Many of them were not able to make their way out because they went to the back of the building, tried to hide themselves away from the smokes, the flames in the toilet. And that's where we found most of the bodies.
Gold is trading at $4,069.90 an ounce. The rand is at 16.38 to the dollar, 21.91 to the pound, 18.66 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $78.89 a barrel.
And in the traffic in Eldorado Park, we've got delays on the N12 East between Klip's, Spruit Valley Road and the Golden Highway. There's also slow-moving traffic along the N3 North between the Airlines Interchange and Van Buren Road. That's due to roadworks.
And in your sport, Mamelodi Sundowns have delayed the departure for their pre-season training in Austria following the death of 25-year-old Bafana midfielder Jaden Adams. Yannick Sinner came from a set down to beat Alexander Zverev and holds on to his Wimbledon title. And the junior Springboks play England tonight in the semi-final of the World Champs.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated showers and thunder showers expected. Johannesburg starting at 4 degrees, peaking at 18. Pretoria 6 and 20. Vereeniging 2 and 19 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Head of the Investigative Directorate Against Corruption, Andrea Johnson, has been confirmed as today's witness at the Madlanga Commission.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
We're calling on Joburg to walk the inner city with us. In 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Babize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
0606 on this brand new week. It's the start of another one, Monday, the 13th of July, the year of our Lord 2026. Welcome to the program. My name is indeed Bongani Bingwa. My gratitude to Clement Manyatela for being in the hot seat on Thursday and Friday. I was at really one of the biggest gatherings in terms of economic and political discussions. Africa Unlocked with Standard Bank. We'll tell you all about it tomorrow. We'll be speaking to them just to give you a sense of what's unfolding and what's dynamic and what's exciting on the African continent as far as that is concerned. But thank you to Clement Manyatela for sitting in the hot chair, as it were, on Thursday and Friday. With you all week. Have to say that now. Not going anywhere. Goodness me. On the menu today, we're going to be speaking to our Alpha Ramushwana. And I don't know if you can think of a better example of the kind of dysfunction we live with in South Africa. A local community live with a river in between two sides of this local community. This is a far-flung place in Limpopo. It all started with a social media post where somebody posted a picture of a makeshift bridge that had been built by locals to try and help community members get from one side of the village to the other across the river. Most importantly, they're trying to access the only clinic that's available in the area. This is made of logs, pieces of string, and other very basic elements. Why is it a disaster?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
It's a disaster because, as I say, it's the only local clinic available in the area. Tick. It's a disaster because, as I say, there's often torrents of this raging river that community members have to cross to get to the only clinic in the area. Tick. It's a disaster because nobody has seen it fit to build a bridge for them to be able to get over to the other side of the river. Tick. It's a disaster because when this clinic was built, there was little consideration given to how the people on the other side of the river might be able to access this clinic. So was that the best spot to build it in the first instance? But it's also a disaster because the local community members who decided to piece together these rudimentary materials to build this bridge are charging community members to use it. They say, oh no, but we didn't do this out of the goodness of our hearts. We also need to put food on the table. It's our bridge. You want to use it? Tiger. Isn't that 10 rand, right? Tiger. One way. Tiger. 10 rand. So if you are going to the clinic, you have to budget 20 rand to be able to use this thing. And of course it wobbles and you're worried that you could be swept away, right? With each step, because it's not a solid structure. It's just a floating little flotilla, I suppose, that gets you from one side to the other. Now, isn't that a microcosm of the kind of dysfunction that we are living under? It ticks all the boxes. So Alpha Ramoshwana saw this post on social media, and being the intrepid reporter that he is, he decided, I'm going to go see for myself. And he did. You can go to EWN and check out all the videos and the footage. He actually went there, spoke to the local community, spoke to the people who are using this thing, spoke to those that built it. It's really quite extraordinary.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
The other story we're picking up, remember, pick it up? Have they been picking it up? Remember, we spoke to them about the Joburg refuse challenges, and the uncle we spoke to from Pick It Up, the CFO, Lishani Matsila, told us just last week, or was it the week before last, that out of, 223 trucks in their fleet, only 83 or 82 were actually operational. 60% were not, either abandoned or in some state of disrepair, and they hadn't bought new trucks in the last 12 years, he said. Quite apart from not being able to refleet, they have not been able to pay some of their service providers, who then can't pay their staff, who then obviously go on strike and refuse to pick up rubbish and provide a service for which they won't be paid. This is an entity that, on the books at least, on paper, sits on a surplus, but isn't able to spend its money. He blamed the city that oversees the entity for withholding that money and using it for other priorities. So, is the rubbish being picked up? We'll speak to the Joburg Crisis Alliance, and we'll speak to our beloved CFO from Pick It Up from 2 weeks ago to find out. That's our big interview.
Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
12 minutes after 6 o'clock. Here's a question. This is our shout out this morning, and we're asking this, of course, as always, to illustrate something in the news that we think you ought to know about. Have you heard that song by Aaliyah, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number? How true is that? And without being silly about it, of course, we're talking about any and everything legal within the law. Is age nothing but just a number? In life, in the workplace, in relationships, in the home, is age nothing but a number, Muteo?
There should be a balance between wisdom and youth. It doesn't always work out. So in terms of innovation, yes, you need younger minds in the room. In terms of, talking about situations that need experience, you need wiser gray hairs in the room as well. So it's a balance for me.
A mix.
It's
an energy mix.
It's a mix.
As Gwede
Not to be
Mandashe might
political,
say.
but yeah.
An energy mix.
I guess in professional spaces like that, as Mutero is referring, but I've also seen relationships where the woman is older than the man and they thrive. There's absolutely no issues.
Significantly older, or just slightly?
I would say, 5-6 year gap for me, it's older, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit.
It is. And I've seen,
You've seen it work.
I've seen it work. And in that case, age was nothing but a number.
We're asking you that very simple question. My colleagues, of course, Muteo Haripe and Amo Ramila, with me in studio, as is indeed the rest of the team behind the scenes producing the show. It's a very simple one. Send us a WhatsApp voice note on 072-702-1702. When it comes to work, when it comes to life, when it comes to politics, is age nothing but just a number?
Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Well, I don't know how much you kept up with the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry last week, but it's all coming together, is it not? The investigators and the evidence leaders really quite methodical, if not surgical, in going through information obtained on Major General Feroz Khan's phone and his devices and the conversations that have unfolded. And now we're hearing that the head of the Investigative Directorate Against Corruption, Advocate Andrea Johnson, confirmed as today's witness at the commission. You remember, of course, on Friday, at least 4 witnesses testified about alleged misconduct at IDAC, and that put, or at least pointed a finger directly at Andrea Johnson and even her erstwhile boss, Shamila Batoy. This was around alleged interference in cases where people would complain to the two of them, and instead of appointing investigators and prosecutors to deal with the issue, they would allegedly share that information with those who were accused. And I thought it was really quite telling to remind you of this moment in November 2025 during the ad hoc committee hearing. Remember that ad hoc committee in Parliament that's investigating, by the way, the same allegations that Madlanga is looking into. During that hearing, when Andrea Johnson was before members of Parliament, she defined being or going rogue in law enforcement thus.
And if I could be allowed to finish, Honourable James, I took exception to him saying that there were rogue elements. If the Honourable James remembers what the Honourable Malema said, I indicated in the manner in which he put it, I could not dispute that. If you talk of Mr. Belochin, if there are criminal allegations, those must be investigated. That is not a rogue element. That is completely different from how I understand the rogue element to be. The rogue element is someone, as described by the Honourable Malema, who might be compromised in terms of giving information about cases and details of cases to Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi or anybody else. That is the rogue, as I understood.
Huh? She talks about going rogue as being somebody who has information about cases and gives that information about cases to the wrong people, unduly and unlawfully. And as she appears before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today, that is exactly what is alleged about her.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
17 after 6. Mateo Kharipa, you've got a question of your own?
Yeah, I want to know this morning, what have previous tough times taught you about yourself? So things that you've gone through that were tough, and what can you withstand now that you couldn't before?
It's a tricky one because when you go over one little hill, or any hill, big or small, you think, okay, I can bring it on. I went through that, bring it on, life.
Take anything.
And then the next hill comes and you are like, yo. I was joking.
But
Make a joke.
You're a little stronger than you were before.
No, because each challenge is unique. And especially if you haven't experienced something like it before, you know? So you can deal perhaps with the loss of a parent. That doesn't necessarily prepare you for divorce. You can deal with divorce. That doesn't necessarily prepare you for a child who abuses substances. Do you know what I mean? Each of those challenges on its own is significant. And you think as you get over the one, you're ready for the next until the next one comes knocking. And it's like,
what do you hear? You hear?
Yeah. Amo?
I mean, to your word, Bongani, definitely that. Tough times have taught me that I can do it. I can go through them, but nothing has prepared me for the next. It's always just been different. It always just been, even having children, right? You have a child and you think, the second one I'll be,
easy peasy.
Oh my goodness.
I know how to do this.
No, they are different.
You find out.
You find out. But as you say, Mateo, we're here, ain't we?
7:02.
Weather.
19 after 6, this EWN weather brought to you by Samsung Air Conditioners. Stay warm your way. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. Isolated showers and thunder showers expected. Temperatures a lot lower than we saw last week. Your peak in Joburg is 18. It's only 19 in Vereeniging, 20 in Pretoria. Cape Town, cloudy along with a light breeze. A maximum of 17 there. Mahikeng, 21. Gqeberha, 20. East London, 20. Durban, 21.
Is it warm or is it cold? When the weather's unpredictable, we have a solution you can count on. Samsung Air Conditioners bring you efficient heating, ensuring family-friendly comfort indoors. Get tailored comfort for every weather forecast. Don't just stay warm your way this winter. Shop for your perfect fit at Samsung stores, participating retailers, or speak to a friendly installer today.
EWN Traffic.
20 after 6, let's have a first look at the roads. Amo, what are you seeing?
Well, Bongani, we've got delays in Eldorado Park. This is along the N12 East between Klipspruit Valley Road and Main Road. Please be on the lookout there, about a 15-minute hold-up. Then if you're traveling on the M1 North, we've got delays between Boysons Road and Carr Street, while in Germiston, queuing traffic on the N3 North. This is between the Elands Interchange and Van Buren Road. That's due to roadworks there. In the city of Tshwane, queuing traffic as well along the R80 East, Mabopane Highway, just as you approach SKM Patlele exit. That's also due to peak time delays and faulty traffic lights. Please approach with care. We'll have more updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Good morning. Tapa from Binoni here. Indeed, age ain't nothing but a number. Not for me though, but from what I see, perhaps it is. I mean, Emmanuel Macron, there's a super example right there. I mean, he's successful, he's a president, and obviously married his teacher. Hello.
It's always the same with you. I want this, I need that, and somehow I am always the one paying for it. I think we need a little time apart. Not forever, just long enough for me to build some interest again. After all, distance makes the funds grow stronger.
Give your money time this July savings month. Open a Nedbank 32-day notice account on a money app and earn up to 7.55% interest with 0 monthly fees. Go to nedbank.co.za. See money differently. Nedbank, we're a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Welcome to Nando's Taste-Demonials. It's the flavor! Real reviews by real people. Nadine from Belito is no scallop, but she did call the flame-grilled half chicken in Nando's unique peri-peri recipe with a single side of your choice for $125 dope. Whoop, whoop! Whoop, whoop, whoop! Okay, sorry. Relax, Nadine. The only thing we're busting here is your hunger. Okay? Nando's. Oh, what a place.
We asked rugby legend Francois Steyn what he thinks of the all-new Toyota BZ4X. France, would you say the BZ4X is a rugged all-wheel drive SUV?
Yeah.
Cool. Was the acceleration and handling good?
Yeah.
All right. So you think the BZ4X can handle South Africa?
Wat dink jy?
Well, there you have it. The all-new Toyota BZ4X, an all-wheel drive battery electric SUV made to handle South Africa. The BZ4X. It just got real.
What is your business here?
You didn't start your business to play it safe. You took the leap, made the bold move, and now it's time to make the next one. This week, 702 and Budget Business Insurance are giving small businesses the chance to win their share of 100,000 Rand with the Budget BizBucks Bonanza. Enter on primemediaplus.com. Tell us about the boldest move you've ever made in your business and what your next one will be. Then get an obligation-free Budget Business Insurance quote. 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa could call you. Budget Insurance is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's apply.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Morning, Bongs. Morning, T. Morning, Linda. Semiti Panyecha. Bongs, I'm shocked. I was listening to the news when they talk about the river. I wonder why our government every time needs people to strike and bend tires and everything for them to hear our crisis. And as the government of Tubat says, they know about that issue. What were they doing all along about the issue? Now they said they're taking it to provincial. Why didn't they do that all along, Bongs? I mean, our government, guys, but they want people to vote and to vote for them, in fact. They're not even ashamed to say everything every day, same thing every day. Oh.
But we vote for them, don't we? That's why you can send that voice note and say, our government. So whose fault is it?
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
25 after 6, things you need to know at this hour. U.S. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham has died following a brief and sudden illness, and it marks the end of a long and influential career in American politics. He was first elected to the U.S. Senate in 2002, representing, of course, South Carolina, regarded as one of the hawks in U.S. politics. He was a very strong ally of Israel and objected, of course, to a number of international fora, if you will, that sought to keep the Israeli government to account, including the ICC, the International Criminal Court, and of course South Africa's case in the International Court of Justice. Lindsey Graham has passed away. A visibly nervous US President Donald Trump has once again stated a reported plan by Iran supposedly to assassinate him. Last week, US media reports alleged the American leader had been tipped off by Israeli sources that Tehran sought to retaliate against the US for the killing of its supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, 4 months ago. This as tensions in the Persian Gulf have once again escalated in tit-for-tat attacks between the US and Iran. Have a listen to Donald Trump complaining about being on this supposed hit list.
I'm number one on the kill list for Iran. They're lovely people. I'm number one. So I don't know. I can't tell you that, but I don't really care because I'm doing my job and I'm doing it, I hope, better than anybody's ever done it because we have a country that's hot and really, really successful. But I mention it only because it's on the list. I mean, it came out. There was another list came out yesterday, and I'm number one on. I like being number one on TikTok better, but I'm number one on the list for killing.
Visibly nervous, Donald Trump there. And of course, questions can be asked about whether this intelligence, supposedly from Israel, was even necessarily, correct or true. Is he being pulled by the nose once again? Because I can't remember the last international figure that was assassinated by the Iranians, but I can tell you a number of Iranian figures that have been assassinated by both the US and the Israelis. So you have to, figure out what it all really means. Don't know if you've been following the World Cup. England versus Norway. What a game. What a game. And Jude Bellingham, of course, the hero of that encounter for the English. But probably more than anything else, Mutero Kharipe, there was that moment of silence, of course, in tribute to the Mamelodi Sundowns and Bafana Bafana midfielder Jaden Adams, who has tragically passed away. And as the game started, there was a minute of silence. How did you respond to that?
I mean, I was still coming to terms with the announcement of his passing, right? And I didn't expect this particular game to have a tribute for him so quickly, And when I saw his face on the screen and he was just playing just a few weeks ago, I was touched, man. It was difficult for me. That moment just made it more real, because you were hoping for something of a hoax, just misinformation of some sort, but to see it that true and fellow players also, taking a moment silent to just recognize a young talent that we still had hopes for.
It just felt to me that's what sport is about.
Yeah,
that's what football is about. That's what the World Cup should be about. The 25-year-old found dead in his Cape Town apartment. Police opening an inquest to investigate the cause of his death. Talking about that, of course, more than 5 years after the death of Anele Tembe, that mystery surrounding her final moments set to return to court. She died 5 years ago, I beg your pardon, on the 11th of April 2021 after falling from the 10th floor of the Pepper Club Hotel in Cape Town, a tragedy that stunned the country. But from today, the 13th of July, from today, in the next 2 days, the Cape Town Magistrates Court will hear an inquest with 6 witnesses subpoenaed to testify and try and bring some clarity about what might have happened. And the R&B sensation, musician, singer Deborah Cox celebrates her 52nd birthday today. She was born on this day in 1974. You know the hits, It Could Have Been You, Who Do You Love? Nobody's Supposed to Be Here.
The newspapers.
Sviso Zulu.
Good morning,
A very good morning to you. I'm looking at all the local newspapers on this Monday morning. And a lot of the focus is around service delivery issues. The Citizen running with, you call this a hospital, and they've got an absolute disaster scene of a hospital, the Rob Ferreira in Mbombela. I mean, it looks like a war zone. The Sowetan, that touching, silent moment for Jaden Adams in the game between Norway and England. And the business day today is focusing on Gwede acting to avert fuel shortfalls. And it calls a picture of Lindsey Graham with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. What do you have?
Many experts in the UK have summed up so far the total number of people who have died due to the heat wave, and they are saying 2,700 people are estimated to have died due to the heat wave between May and June.
All right. Those are the newspapers.
EWN Business.
All right, let's catch up with business news now. Muteo Kharipe, you're asking a very simple question. What have tough times taught you about yourself? What you can go through, withstand, and that you thought you couldn't before? What prompts the question?
Bongani, the South African Reserve Bank says the local currency, the rand, now can take more geopolitical shocks than it used to. With renewed strikes between the US and Iran, the global economy faces more high inflation and a surge in energy prices. Reserve Bank Chief Economist Konstantin Makrolov says the country has better macroeconomic buffers than it did 5 years ago. The local unit has weakened and strengthened through the COVID pandemic, the Russia-Ukraine war, the 2021 riots, higher US tariffs, and more recently, the battle over the Strait of Hormuz. Saab says the rand now enjoys policy credibility, allowing it to withstand economic shocks. Its mandate, the South African Reserve Bank holds that particular mandate to protect the value of the rand through its primary mandate of price and financial stability. It achieves this by setting interest rates to target inflation, managing the country's foreign exchange reserves, and regulating the financial sector. Now, Makrolov told Business Day that over the past year, the Reserve Bank has improved foreign exchange reserves and also lowered inflation targets, allowing it to protect the buying power of the rand. The South African rand has demonstrated surprising resilience, up between 8 to 10% against the US dollar, despite the global pressures we now face with the Middle East tensions.
Your indicators?
Markets are weaker, especially in Asia, with that tit-for-tat between the US and Iran. The Kosdaq fell 2% this morning. Japan's Nikkei also down 1.5%, while in Australia, markets were lower. Mainland Chinese stocks also down 0.5%. And that's, of course, affected the price of oil as well in the market, with oil up now 5%. So we've basically gone back to the drawing board, if you will, in terms of those fuel prices. But markets were stronger on Friday, with the rand this morning now at 16 rand 40 against the US dollar, 18 rand 69 against the euro, and 21 rand 92 cents against the British pound. Price of gold is down 1.7% at $4,050, while platinum is at $1,602. Brent crude up 5% at this hour, $79 a barrel. More business after 7.
Straight to the news desk we go. Swiss Zulu, trouble in Mpumalanga.
That's right, Bongani. Police there have confirmed that at least 4 people have been shot dead in Bushbuck Ridge. The motive for last night's attack is not yet known. The province's Police Commissioner Zef Mkwanazi is expected to brief journalists this morning on the incident. We'll bring you more details as soon as they become available. In the capital, a man in Soshanguve has been arrested for allegedly posing as a City of Tshwane's electricity contractor and illegally reconnecting power at a fee. Metro Police say they acted on a tip-off over the weekend and arrested him. TMPD spokesperson Puleng Mutolo says the suspect faces charges of tampering with municipal essential infrastructure.
During the arrest, officers discovered cash in his possession, which was identified as payment for the illegal reconnection work. He is currently detained at the local police station and will appear in court soon.
Western Cape Police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the torching of 3 taxis at the Nyanga taxi rank. Police say they were called to the scene on Saturday morning and found the vehicles in flames. Police spokesperson Frederick van Wyk says a similar attack happened in March when 5 taxis were targeted and set alight at the same rank.
According to reports, police members on patrol were informed by Cyclops operators of a fire at Nyanga taxi rank. These taxis were parked at the Belleville site of the taxi rank. A malicious damage to property case was registered for investigation.
And the US military has launched a new wave of strikes against Iran after renewed fighting over the Strait of Hormuz saw several of Washington's Gulf allies targeted by incoming fire. The flare-up is the latest to undermine an interim agreement between Washington and Tehran aimed at ending their war, which has caused global economic shockwaves since it began in late February. The latest salvo also by U.S. forces began yesterday, with the Central Command confirming approximately 140 strikes the previous night. Iranian state media reported U.S. strikes targeting important military areas as well as commercial shipping places across southern and western Iran near the strait. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with showers expected today. Temperatures are at lows of 4 and 6 degrees, peaking at highs between 18 and 20.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the M1 South. This is just as you approach the Woodland Drive exit. This is due to an accident while traveling on the N12 East. We've got delays between Abu Bakr Drive and Klipspruit Valley Road.
Developing this morning, Mpumalanga police have confirmed that at least 4 people have been shot dead in Bushbuck Ridge.
Don't miss the last week of the Checkers XXL Savings Championship. Get Coca-Cola Original Taste Less Sugar Soft Drink, 2 litres, 2 for 45 Rand. Lay's Potato Chips, 120 grams, any 3 for 60 Rand. And Omo Auto Detergent Capsules, 14 per pack, or Liquid Detergent, 1.5 litres, any 2 for 160 Rand. Valid until 19 July, only at Checkers.
Smart business moves save money. So switch to Archion's business insurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. And did you know Archion's was voted News 24 Short-Term Insurer of the Year for 4 years in a row? Make the smart business move and switch to Archion's business today. For dentistries, general medical practices, physiotherapies, and all other businesses, visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
You're up before everyone else. You're building something real. Absa Business Banking, powered by Visa, gives you everything you need to get going. Open a business account in 10 minutes. Buy a point-of-sale device for $799 and get a credit card all in one place. We get it. Running a business is hard. Your banking shouldn't be. Search Business Starter Pack. Your story matters. Absa is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Coming up in the next hour, what's the question? And it's brought to you by Outsurance. 3,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. So you send us an answer based on something you heard in the show that piqued your interest. We'll give you $1,000. Simply WhatsApp us your name and the answer to 072 702 1702. Now, someone else may ask a question to get your answer, and for their troubles, they'll win 2,000 Rand. Now, you always stand a better chance of being selected to give us that answer and question if you have SMS'd out to Outsurance to get yourself a quote. So do it now. SMS out to 45142 and you could save on your car insurance.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Hi, morning, Bongani. What's ironic about it, the story of the bridge is that another issue in Limpopo is that the province, really, Limpopo, is a happy hunting ground for the ANC. I mean, I bet you as we go towards the local government elections later this year, the ANC is going to ace in the elections in that province. So sometimes really much as you feel about communities, but sometimes you just say, you know what? I mean, really, what else must be done? What else must be said? Really. Thanks, Bongos. Tabo, Midrand.
Bongani, good morning, and good morning to the team as well as to the listeners. You know, sometimes when we say we wish the old government can just come back, we mean that a bridge like that one where the community has to pay, it is so unnecessary. I mean, it actually reminded me of the story of my mom. She used to work at, shop, at ShopRite in Garankuwa, and the bridge between the community and the ShopRite, it was built because my mom fell into the water one day, and she had to go as she was to the government to show them exactly what happened. And luckily, there was a white man who's an engineer, and the bridge was built. Today, Garankuwa has a proper bridge because of the complaints that my mom made. So I don't understand why this government is just failing to build a simple bridge for the people.
Yeah, a lot wrong with that story, but be careful what you wish for. I mean, partly we're here because the old government didn't build those bridges either, right? But as you point out, if this was well known and the officials were aware that there's a problem in that area, why wasn't something done about it until all of this was now put out in the public domain. We'll be speaking to our Alpha Ramoshwana coming up.
EWN Sport.
Gosh, Cindy Paluta, very good morning to you. I think one of the most touching moments that reminded me what sport is actually all about, what it should be all about, football certainly, was in the game between Norway and England when they had a moment of silence for this 25-year-old who has now since passed. He's no longer playing for Sundowns, or he wasn't, but Sundowns? Was he still with Sundowns, or was
yes,
he...
Yes, he had just joined Sundowns.
Just joined
Sundowns
from Stellenbosch. I thought I'm confusing my players. I thought he was about to get an overseas contract. But I'll let you tell the story.
Yeah, so Mamelodi Sundowns have now postponed the team's departure for a pre-season training camp in Austria following the untimely death of 25-year-old Jaden Adams on Saturday, though the cause of death has not been confirmed. The pre-season matches haven't been cancelled, just the departure postponed. Well, the World Cup has finally reached the semi-final stage. Tomorrow night, Spain against France, and Wednesday, the defending champions Argentina against England. Both games at 9 p.m. World number one Yannick Sinner held on to his Wimbledon title. He came from a set down to beat Alexander Zverev yesterday, 6-7, 7-6, 6-3 and 6-4.
Yeah, amazing achievement from my side. Very tough match today against Sasha. Felt like both very high level because it was not easy to play. It was very dusty, breezy, so very happy, and of course standing here again as champion means a lot to me.
Of course, I wanted to sheepishly text you last week
should've.
because Sinner, as you predicted, dispensed with Djokovic quite easily, hey?
Yeah,
Straight sets.
Yeah. Actually, a lot slower than I expected. I expected it to be so much worse. On Saturday, the women's title was won by Linda Noskova. Springboks topped the Southern Hemisphere section, the Nations Championship, ahead of New Zealand on points difference. Though the Boks beat Scotland 42-28, the sides were level at halftime. Coach Rassie Rasmus says his inexperienced players learnt a lot.
If you take the Scotland team, and this is not at all to make our performance better, but and the way they smashed Argentina, they beat England, they beat France. This team, there was 12 guys who's got 10 caps and less, half of the team. So cohesion would always be a problem. That you could see in the defense when we made some subs at the end. So yes, we learned a lot of some players, not that they're not good enough.
Tonight, the Junior Springboks play England in the semi-final of the Junior World Champs at 6:30. SA Rugby mourning the death of former SA Under-18 prop Luqobo Makwadini. The 20-year-old suffered a heart attack while training with his French club. In cricket, Brendan McCullum has stood down as England's Test coach but stays in charge for the T20 and ODIs. England have lost 8 of their last 12 Test matches. In MotoGP, Marc Marquez won the German MotoGP, his 13th victory on the German track, equaling Agostini's record for most wins at a single event and most victories at the same circuit. Marquez, who won ahead of Ogura and Fernandez, is now third in the overall standings, 18 points behind Martin. Ogura is second overall. And at the Tour de France, Tadej Pogacar still has the yellow jersey, 2 minutes ahead of Vingegaard. Stage 9 was won by Mathieu van der Poel. The stage was shortened due to intense heat. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Hello, Radio 702. My name is Jule Bachile and I am 12 years old. I go to Aberview Primary School and I want to become an astronaut later in life. I can't wait to play the Whiz Quiz with Uncle Bongani. Bye.
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
We asked rugby legend Francois Steyn what he thinks of the all-new Toyota BZ4X. France, would you say the BZ4X is a rugged all-wheel drive SUV?
Yeah.
Cool. Was the acceleration and handling good?
Yeah.
All right. So you think the BZ4X can handle South Africa?
Wat dink jy?
Well, there you have it. The all-new Toyota BZ4X, an all-wheel drive battery electric SUV made to handle South Africa. The BZ4X, it just got real.
Johannesburg is calling on Sunday, 26 July. Join thousands of Joburgers for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, proudly partnered by Standard Bank. Walk the historic streets of the CBD, starting and finishing at Ellis Park, and celebrate a city on the rise, growing, evolving, and full of possibility. It's more than a walk, it's Josie coming together. Register now for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Standard Bank is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Looking to save money on your business insurance? Switch to Outsurance Business Insurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Here's Niku from the Gas Mart.
I was my previous insurer for 9 years before switching to Outsurance Business Insurance. I'm very happy with my premiums at the moment. I wish we switched sooner to Outsurance Business Insurance.
Get a quote to switch and save today. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 0800 60,000. Licensed insurer in FSP. TCs and information online.
EWN Traffic.
It's 6:45 on the nose. This EWN traffic brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. We're told there are foggy conditions out.
That's correct, Bongani, and we do have a voice note regarding that.
Good morning, 702. It's Quentin here from Kempton Park. I just want to like to set out the warning. It's very misty in the mid-range area. Please be cautious. Put on your headlights and drive safe and have a lovely week.
Thank you, Quinton, for that. And yeah, do keep a safe following distance and drive a bit slower than usual. Well, if you are traveling in Edenville, we've got delays on the N12 and the R24 West between Edenville Road and the Kilulis interchange. That's due to an accident. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 North between the Earlands interchange and Van Buren Road. That's due to roadworks. We'll have more updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. Clever excuses for being late, number 93. The GPS language setting mysteriously changed to Greek. Fortunately, with the Outsurance pointsman on the roads, you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The Outsurance pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer in the FSP.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Time, of course, to give away some cash, shall we? Today we're playing with 12-year-old Rilebogile, who wants to be an astronaut a little later on in life. Rilebogile, that means you are going to ace all of the space-related questions, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's your favorite subject at school?
My favorite subject at school is EMS.
EMS. Okay. Well, let's see how well you do in today's Whiz Quiz. Let's start the clock. What is 5 times 5?
5 times 5, 25.
Correct. In which European city would you find the Eiffel Tower?
Paris.
Correct. In cartoons, who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Correct. Which planet in our solar system is famous for its large red spot? Is it Jupiter or is it Mercury?
Mercury.
It's Jupiter. What is the name of the largest city in KwaZulu-Natal?
Durban.
Correct. True or false? There is a total of 26 consonants in our alphabet.
True.
It's false. Complete the saying, practice makes what?
Practice makes perfect.
Correct. What is the process called when a caterpillar transforms into a butterfly? Is it photosynthesis or is it metamorphosis?
Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis, indeed. Metamorphosis, that is true. We have a total of 21 consonants in our alphabet, not 26. And, of course, what was the other one you didn't get quite right? It's Jupiter that has the large red spot, not Mercury. So those are the ones that tripped you. And then, of course, we just ran out of time. But not a bad score. You walk away with 600 Rand.
So, the payments game has totally changed and businesses can now score with the new FNB Speedpoint range.
That's great news for business owners.
You get a low commission rate starting from 1.8% that drops to as low as 0.6% as your business grows.
I want to play for this winning team.
Get in the payments game with a bank that rewards your business for doing well. FNB, help changes everything. First National Bank, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider. T's and C's apply.
The 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk is calling on you to walk with the people for the people. Sunday, 26 July, Babize Bonke. This year, the Sunday Times is partnering with Walk the Talk. All of you who enter Walk the Talk will receive a 3-month digital subscription to the Sunday Times as part of the partnership. And look out for all the coverage of Walk the Talk in the Sunday Times on Times Live. So whether you're taking on 8, 5 or 15 kilometers, enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg.
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
10 minutes before 7 o'clock, on to this now. More than 30 years into South Africa's democracy, some rural communities are still risking their lives simply to access healthcare. In Limpopo, residents of Mafara have taken steps and matters into their own hands. They've built, as I said earlier, this makeshift bridge across the flooded, raging Tubatse River to reach the nearest clinic in Gauteng. The bridge was really made from rudimentary materials, wooden logs, corrugated iron sheets and sticks. It's unstable, it's dangerous and wobbly, and now comes at a price. For those who built it, residents must pay 20 Rand for 2 crossings, one way across the bridge and returning. Alpha Ramashwana went to the area and to see for himself. Alpha, very good morning to you. Just paint a picture for us. As I understand it, this all began with a social media post. You looked at it and you thought, that surely can't be true, and went to go find out.
Good morning. Yes, Bongani. A few days ago, sometime last week, we saw this video on social media where residents were building a bridge for themselves, a makeshift bridge really, over the flooded Tubatse River. And we decided to take a trip to Beggars Fort, specifically the village of Mafara and Gauteng, to see if this is indeed true and the bridge actually exists. And what we found when we got there is that it does indeed exist. Of course, we took a walk over the bridge. Very wobbly bridge, Bongani. I mean, one mistake, the bridge could either collapse or you could fall off the bridge, because the sticks, very thin sticks, have been used as handrails for people to balance and guide themselves across the bridge. So it's a very, very wobbly structure, but it seems that it has come to the rescue of many people who have had to swim across the river over the past few years.
Well, talk to me about the Tubatse. I understand it's flooded at the moment, or at least overflowing. How dangerous is that swim to cross it?
Yeah, so it's a very flooded river. There's a dam, the Tubatse or Steelport Dam, not too far away from the Mafara village. And when that dam is overflooded or it's full to capacity, they release water into the Tubatse River, of course, flooding it, meaning the water is flowing at very, very fast pace, Bongani. So it's very difficult to even get into that river and attempt to cross or swim across the river. Now, the bridge, which was built, as you've mentioned, is not being accessed for free. The men who built it said, we did not do this voluntarily. We did this because we saw it as a good business opportunity to make some extra income on the side. And so they're charging people to cross this very wobbly, dangerous bridge. But as we were speaking to those men, one thing that very much shocked me was that 3 young men who could not afford to pay to cross the bridge were told, you are not touching this bridge, you are not accessing this bridge. And we saw them walk to a certain part of the river, which seems a bit calm, and they simply got in, tied their clothes around their necks, and slowly walked to the other side of the village. And so these are the daily realities of the residents at the Gauteng and Tubatse River. Before this bridge was built, they had a makeshift raft which they would use to cross from one side of the river to the other, but the raft wasn't safe either. And the people see the bridge really as something that they have been longing for. So they are paying for this bridge every time they need to access it. Certainly for them, it's much better than getting themselves wet.
I mean, what do the authorities, I mean, there's so much wrong about this story, Alpha. Where's our humanity that this is what we would do, even when a solution has been found, however, impermanent it may be? What are the authorities saying in response to all of this?
So I did send a couple of questions to the Fetagomo Tubatse, a local municipality, and what I really wanted to know from them is whether they have any plans of dismantling that bridge. I mean, as you've said, the bridge is very, very wobbly. The handrails are made of sticks. The walking surface is made of corrugated iron sheets. and the foundation is 3 wooden logs. And as you walk, you can feel the water brushing beneath the bridge's surface. And so it's definitely a ticking time bomb and a disaster waiting to happen. So what I wanted to know from the municipality is, does it have plans to dismantle that bridge and perhaps build them a bridge that would be much safer to move from one side of the village to the other? And I did not get the desired response. In fact, the only thing that they confirmed to me is that they are aware of the situation at the Mafarafara village, but could not give me details as to whether they plan on dismantling that bridge or whether they plan on building a proper bridge. So those answers still today, we still don't have them. But when you speak to the residents, Bongani, you get to understand why exactly they decided to build this bridge. So the story is, the Mafarafara village is a small village and they don't have access to any form of medical health care. There's no clinic, there's nothing in that village. And to get to the nearest clinic, they have to cross the river into the Hataung clinic. So the people who are primarily using that bridge are people who desperately need to get to the clinic. And so the municipality hasn't confirmed to me if they are going to build a bridge of their own. And all they said is that they're going to escalate the matter to the Limpopo government.
What stood out to you, Alpha, about the community that lives there, the people that have to live like this, under this kind of indignity and, I suppose, risk?
It was the extent that elderly citizens, elderly residents are willing to go just to get to the clinic. Like I said, the Khatawun clinic is the closest one to the people who live in Mafarafara. And you see people who are 60 plus saying that I'm willing to pay this 10 Rand to cross the bridge so that I can go and get my monthly pills at the clinic. Before the bridge was built, they would go onto that raft, guided by some men who are always there to assist people to cross the river. They would go onto that raft, Bongani, and they would cross the flooded river with its fast-flowing current. And these are people who say this has been their reality for many, many years. They've been voting ever since the dawn of democracy. And to them, this is reality. They don't know anything outside of the life that they have. And so the question that I asked to them was that, do you expect the government to build your bridge to cross the flooded Tuatse River? And they've told me that they've learned to live without government services. So they make do with the little that they have. And to me, that's what stands out, that people have gotten to a point where they are willing to live with the little that they have, even though they pay for services, even though they do vote every 5 years, Bongani.
And tell me about the chaps who built it. I mean, no sense of, what would it be, compassion for those who are most desperate? No exceptions, everybody must pay or else you don't use this bridge. Who are they, and why are they not understanding the public good element of what this could mean for that community?
Yeah, I think it's something that also shocked me, because going to Limpopo, I had no idea that the people were expected to pay to cross the river, and it was a shock when I got there, seeing them denying access to young men who didn't have the money and them telling them to just swim across the river. It's a group of men who decided that they needed to take matters into their own hands. They went and collected material from the village, the wooden logs, corrugated iron sheets, and sticks that they found from a nearby bush, and they built that bridge over 2 days. And what you get from them is that this is a business opportunity. Their answer to me was that we need to put food on the table. There's absolutely no way that we can do this voluntarily while we're also struggling to make ends meet at home. And so for them, this is a solution to whatever challenges they had been facing at home with making ends meet. They make people pay 10 Rand per trip, 20 Rand for a return trip. And you get the sense that they don't necessarily understand the risks associated with this bridge, because the questions I posed to them, Bongani, was, if this bridge collapses with someone on it, with people on it, and you've made them pay, you do understand that the police or the authorities are first going to come to you to question you. And the answer that they gave me is that it's a risk that they're willing to take. They had no other solution. The residents who live there had no other solution but to actually pay for the bridge, because they previously would use a raft, and the younger men would actually just swim across the Tuatse River.
It's a story that is such a snapshot of the dysfunction we see around the country. It's a story of poverty. It's a story of unemployment. It's a story of a lack of services. It's a story of desperation from a community. It's a story of a people who've been abandoned, is it not? Alpha Ramoshana, you've got visuals and footage that you've put on EWN, so people can go check that out on EWN. You can also access it on primemediaplus.com. Our ace EWN reporter telling us about what he found in Limpopo.
702.
Coming up, the big interview.
Of course, if you're a Joburg and before you think your life is all that much better, up next we follow up a conversation with Pick It Up about the continuing refuse removal challenges in Africa's biggest city.
This is EWN.
A late-night shooting in Mpumalanga leaves people dead, and villagers in Limpopo build their own bridge to reach healthcare. Good morning, I am Sfiso Zulu. We begin with news just in. 4 people have been shot dead in Bushbuck Ridge in Mpumalanga. The motive for last night's attack is not yet known. The province's police commissioner, Zef Mkhwanazi, is expected to brief journalists this morning on the incident and will bring you all the details as soon as they become available. A British man arrested in connection with the murder of his wife and 2 daughters is expected to appear in the Johannesburg Magistrates Court today. Ndodana Chuma was arrested in Kensington on Friday in an operation between the South African police and Interpol. Chuma left the UK 2 days before the bodies of his wife and 2 children were discovered in their home in Bedfordshire. Justice Minister Mamloko Kubai has confirmed that Chuma will be extradited to the UK to face murder allegations. Kosikona Malingamnisi reports.
Mamloko Kubai says Chuma was not flagged as a fugitive when he entered South Africa on the 5th of July. This was a day after he left Heathrow Airport, with British authorities saying he travelled via Dubai. Bedfordshire Police Detective Inspector Lee Martin says Chuma entered South Africa twice.
Mark Chuma left the country on Saturday, flying to Dubai and then on to Johannesburg. He then crossed from South Africa and then into Zimbabwe. We now know, since the previous media statement on Wednesday, he travelled from Zimbabwe to South Africa.
Despite this, UK police have thanked everyone who played a role in the arrest. Si Khona Malingamnisi, Eyewitness News.
More than 30 years into South Africa's democracy, some rural communities are still forced to cross dangerous and fast-flowing rivers to access basic health care. A group of frustrated residents has built a makeshift bridge over the Dubatse River, linking 2 villages near Beggersfort. This is in Limpopo. EWN's Alpha Ramushwana travelled to Limpopo and filed this report.
That is the sound of the Dubatse River, with its raging waters surging downstream. For decades, residents have relied on what they call CYY, which is a makeshift raft to cross from Mafarafara to Gataung. But now a makeshift bridge built from wooden logs, corrugated iron sheets and sticks has come to their rescue. The bridge looks fragile, with the raging river brushing against the wooden logs beneath the bridge's surface. But 55-year-old Nelly Marale says despite it being unstable, the bridge is still far better than having to swim across.
I'm afraid every time I have to cross this bridge, but I do it either way because it's the only way to get to the clinic. The men charge us 20 rand to cross, but it's still better than swimming across.
The Fetahomu Tubatse local municipality says it is aware of the challenges residents face in accessing the local clinic and will escalate the matter to the provincial government. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Beggersfort in Limpopo.
And a court in Sudan's army-controlled city of Port Sudan has sentenced paramilitary leader Mohammed Hamdan Dalgo and 15 others to death in absentia. This over charges of killing a regional governor and war crimes in Darfur. The ruling, issued by a judiciary functioning under the army, is the first against the leadership of the Rapid Support Forces since war broke out between the paramilitary group and the Sudanese army in April 2023. The case centers on the killing of West Darfur Governor Kamas Abubakar in 2023, shortly after RSF forces seized Al Janina, the state capital. UN experts determined that between 10,000 and 15,000 people, mostly from the Masalit ethnic group, were killed in the capital during the violence. The RSF has repeatedly denied allegations of genocide and other war crimes. Gold is trading at $4,053.19 an ounce. The rand is at 16.39 to the dollar, 21.93 to the pound, 18.69 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $79.15 a barrel.
And in the traffic in Kempton Park, we've got an accident on the R21 South that happened right after the R25. It's causing heavy delays. There's another accident seen in the Tembisa Klorkop area. This one is along the Zurfontein Road. It happened right after Allendale Road, also causing delays.
And in your sports, South Africa mourning the death of two athletes over the weekend. Bafana midfielder Jaden Adams and former under-18 Springbok rugby prop Luqobo Makwadini. Sundowns have since delayed the departure of their pre-season tour. Yannick Sinner defended his Wimbledon title, coming from a set-down to beat Alexander Zverev. And the junior Boks play England tonight in the semi-finals of the World Champs.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated showers and thunder showers expected today. Johannesburg is at a low of 4 degrees, peaking at 18. Pretoria 6 and 20. Vereeniging 2 and 19 degrees. The developing story in EW and the Sawa. 4 people have been shot dead in Bushbuck Ridge in Mpumalanga.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy that connects us all.
That's what makes this one so special.
In 702, Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the city of Johannesburg. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
7 minutes after 7, it's the start of a brand new week, Monday, the 13th of July, 2026. If you've just joined us, welcome to the program. The story coming out of Mpumalanga is a greatly concerning one. 4 people shot dead in Bushbuck Ridge. We're not clear on the motive yet for the attack, but they're saying that we'll be getting a briefing from the police a little later on today. Also, good news, I suppose, in a sense, from the police. The British man arrested in connection with the murder of his wife and 2 daughters in the UK is expected to appear in court this morning. And to be clear, from what we understand now, he arrived in Johannesburg before the bodies had even been discovered in the UK. I've seen some speculation on social media, people saying, why is it that he was allowed to get through? This is an example of our porous borders. No, nobody knew he had done this, or at least was even accused of having done it before he arrived. And so, of course, he would have come through as would any ordinary visitor. I told you about the touching moment in the World Cup game between Norway and England. I don't know if you saw that minute silence held for the 25-year-old Bafana and Sundowns midfielder Jaden Adams. He was, of course, found dead at his home in Cape Town over the weekend. And I wanted to play you a video of Jaden Adams in his own words about himself and his mindset and preparation before big games. Have a listen.
When it's a big game for me, I just tell myself, you just go out there and do your best, do everything you can, and yeah, the game will take it from. Before I go out to warm up, I pray. I video call my girl to see my daughter first and my parents. I think that's a difficult challenge for me as a young player. Be away from my family a lot, especially my daughter, but you know, that's football. I want to be at the highest level, so you need to do these things. But I think the video call and the message is very important, plays a big role in my life.
Gosh, imagine his daughter growing up to hear that, to watch that video. That's something he'd posted, Jaden Adams, on his own social media platforms. The US President Donald Trump has paid tribute to his longtime ally and Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. In fact, there were rivals in the 2016 elections in the primaries, which of course Donald Trump won. And in those days, Graham used to say very, very harsh things about the US president, or the man who would have been US president. And then, of course, once Trump won, his tune changed and he became an ardent supporter of the Trump administration. Have a listen to the tribute paid by Trump to Lindsey Graham.
Well, it's devastating. I thought he was fine. He called me last night. He just got back from Ukraine, and he had a great trip. He was telling me about the trip. He was pushing very, very hard. You probably know he wanted to do the Save America Act that he was talking about that. He was full of vim and vigor. He was tired. He said, "I'm tired," because it's a long trip. But other than that, he was fine. And he called me, I guess, just moments before, because he called me like at 6:30 or something, and the medical people got there a little bit later, right after that. What a terrible loss it is. He was a great politician. He was a natural. There are very few of them. He was a natural politician. Got along with everybody. When he didn't, he was very tough. He was a tough cookie too, but he got along with everybody. He was a strong advocate for Save America, and that's what he called me about last time.
Donald Trump speaking to CNN there, reflecting on his final conversation with Lindsey Graham. But who was Lindsey Graham to others? Well, I want you to listen to an interview with international journalist Mehdi Hassan on his platform Zateo. It was published at the end of April this year. Here he's interviewing the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, prosecutor Karim Khan, who shares an exchange he had with Senator Lindsey Graham. Have a listen.
Is it true that US Senator Lindsey Graham said to you on a conference call on May the 1st, 2024, quote, "This court, the ICC, is for Africans"?
Yeah, in fact, he went further. He said this court is for Africa and thugs like Putin. It is not for democracies like Israel and the United States of America.
What did you say?
I listened to what he and some other distinguished members of the United States Senate had to say, and we were guided by the law in terms of what we had to do, because all of that came in terms of the context of him hearing that we may be imminently applying for warrants.
Two sides of the same man, remembered quite differently there. Your responses are coming thick and fast to my conversation with Alpha Ramoshwana. Let's have just a bit of let's have a listen to what people are saying.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
You know, Bongani, blaming the people who built the river would be the first thing that would come to mind, that is the humanity in them, that they would make people pay. But, you know, they live in the rural areas, and for someone to build that bridge, they spend their own money to get logs, cement, corrugated iron sheets, spend their time. They probably paid someone else to come and help them, because that is something you can't do alone as well, you know. And they probably want to get their money back, but their intention is right. They build something that the community needs, and they still need to get their money back. So I think what they should have indeed done was perhaps to come together as a community, collected money as a collective in the community, and then spend that money. Then the community will also come and volunteer to build a bridge. I think that was what they should have perhaps done, you know, come together as a community to build this bridge.
Hi, Bongani. So the sad thing about the situation in these villages is that unfortunately they're still going to be continuing to vote for the same municipality and the same government, hoping for a different response. In part, they've got to take responsibility of some of these issues as well.
But guys, where is our humanity? Where is our sense of collective compassion, Ubuntu? Who needs to go to a clinic? Who goes to a primary healthcare facility? It's people who are sick. It's the elderly. possibly the disabled, expectant mothers, young children, in communities where unemployment is incredibly high. Hence, they even want to charge for it. And those are the people you're going to ask 10 Rand from to cross the bridge? And of course, the local government that ought to have been doing this in the first place just looks the other way, don't they?
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
It's 7:15. Let's go straight to EWN traffic and catch up with the roads. Let's find out what's happening with Amo.
7:02. Up next,
The big interview.
EWN traffic.
Right, Amo, what are you seeing on your roads? There's a protest in Soweto.
That's correct, Bongani. That's in the Pimville area. We are being told by our faithful listeners that as a result, Klipspruit Valley Road, right as you approach Chris Honey Road, is closed off with rocks and burning tires. Motorists are being advised to try and avoid and use alternative routes. And if you are traveling on the N3 North, that's in the Germiston area, we still have got delays between the Yelands Interchange and Van Buren Road. That's due to roadworks there. Then heading towards the OR Tambo Airport, do expect delays on the R24 East due to an accident right near Edenville Road. It's also causing delays from the Kilulis interchange. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. 7:02.
The big interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
7:16 from makeshift bridges to this now in Johannesburg, overflowing bins, illegal dumping and growing concerns about public health. You remember last week, of course, we spoke to Pick It Up's CFO, Lichani Matsila, who told us that things would all be cleared by yesterday evening because, of course, waste collection services were a bit behind, but things would return to normal, we were assured, back to regular collections being scheduled. We want to follow up on that commitment. Has Pick It Up delivered? And now are residents sorted? The Johannesburg Crisis Alliance has said, of course, the problem runs much deeper than missed collections, saying it reflects a broader governance and financial crisis within the city. So we have on the line Julia Fish from the Joburg Crisis Alliance, a steering committee member, and of course the Pick It Up CFO, Lichani Matsila, has also graciously agreed to join us. Julia, I'll start with you. Give us a sense of where we are. I mean, I know it's not all over Johannesburg. There have been particular areas that have been hard pressed. Pick It Up made a commitment. It would all be sorted by yesterday evening. Has it?
As far as we're concerned, it's not sorted. And that's not just because we're missing rounds of collections. It's because we've been seeing this material issue creeping in since January of this year. And even if they do manage to fix some of the backlog, it's not fixing the core financial issue at Pick It Up.
We were told by the CFO that, look, although on paper the entity sits with reserves, they get told by the city where the money will go, and other priorities are now being identified. And that's why they haven't been able to refleet in 12 years. That's why 60% of that fleet is either broken down or beyond repair. Is it Pick It Up's fault?
Most certainly not. It's a larger cash liquidity issue across the city of Joburg. And who's paying the brunt is the CFOs and the different entities who are not getting their budgets and what's due to them on a weekly and monthly basis.
So in terms of the impact then, I mean, beyond just collections, what's the biggest crisis right now?
The biggest crisis at the moment is actually the capacity at the landfills. The city was told 3 years ago that a lot of these landfills would reach their end of life at the end of June in 2026, so last month. They then embarked on this waste to energy program, which was supposed to free up space in these landfills by burning what's going into them and also reducing the electricity costs that we're suffering. But instead of that actually being implemented, we're still actually looking for someone to run the program, and it's been funded, but nothing's happened. So now 2 of the 4 cities' landfills have reached capacity, and that's causing huge backlogs and longer running times for the fleets that are supposed to collect the waste.
And if the landfills have reached capacity and continue to be used, I would imagine there'll be environmental concerns and even health issues.
2 of the 4 landfill sites have soft closed. So what they're doing is they're having to rely on private landfills, which is costing them about 150 million rand. They now also need to enter into relationships with bordering municipalities to try and take our waste, which, is a short gap issue. But what the long-standing problem is even if there are issues with collection on the ground, residents then can't simply use another company because the landfills are full, and we're going to get an increase in illegal dumping and waste just piling up in the street, which leads to rodents and other serious health risks.
There is a view, Julia, that sometimes this kind of dysfunction, whether it's fleets that, have not they don't have sufficient trucks, whether it's service providers who aren't paid on time, whether it's the landfills issue that you are raising, all of this dysfunction is sometimes designed in a sense because, of course, those who are connected to the entity or the decision makers at least can then score off the tenders to provide services that the city or the entity would otherwise provide.
There's serious questions about the fleet management program that the city actually entered into and whether or not that was the best tender. It's almost as if there's a middleman against the company that's actually providing the service that should have been given the tender in the first place. This dysfunction is actually baked into the system to benefit people, like you said. But there's another issue at play there, and that is when there isn't enough cash to pay certain suppliers, then those suppliers have to go through depot managers and others to try and get their invoices propped to the top so that they get paid, and there's a whole bunch of people within the ecosystem who benefit.
Well, Julia, I'll ask you to stay on the line. Listening to all of that, of course, is the Pick It Up Chief Financial Officer, Litanya Matsila, who returns to the show. CFO, I appreciate your time and you joining us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning to you and to your listeners again and your Joburg Crisis Alliance representative.
All right, I want to pick up on two things. A, the promise you made to the team that at least the collections would be sorted as of last night. I want to catch up with the latest on that. Has that happened? Let's start there.
Thank you very much again. From our side, as we promised, Bongani, that we should be back to normal by today. As far as we're concerned, the backlog has been cleared. There might be what we call isolated incidents where there might be being left behind, estate left behind, due to the fact that as we clear the backlog, Bongani, you are no longer using the regular team that service the area. So that team might not be familiar with the area as well, and that led to one or two service points not be attended to. But we call that isolated incidents. But in terms of our schedules, where we are by today, as I'm talking to you now, our operation team is taking stock. However, the backlog is cleared as promised yesterday. Thank you.
All right. What's your response to the Joburg Crisis Alliance and the number of issues they have raised, from the fleet management program to the landfill sites that are being now filled to capacity, and the general malaise that we seem to be experiencing from Pick It Up?
I think there might be things that are bigger than me from the entity's point of view that she commented on that I don't have the mandate to respond to. But to come to the issue specific to the entity, I think the issue of landfills availability space, it has been with us for some time, and correctly so. Out of 4 landfills that has been operating, 2 have been soft locked or closed. We are operating with 2 landfills for some time as well. We rely on the private landfills that are available within this and our space as well. So the issue of landfills availability has been with us for some time, and unfortunately, it requires a lot of investment to develop new cells. And I think, generally speaking, all our neighboring municipalities are experiencing the same as well. There is a move by the province to assist us, and I'm talking us referring to the city of Tshwane as well, and Ekurhuleni, to see if there can be a centralized landfills to assist both of us as well. So that's on the issue of the landfills.
Litani, you say this was known for some time, and as Julia pointed out, you were warned as to when these landfill sites would no longer be able to operate as they had been. Was there ever a plan then to prepare for that day? And now that it's here?
There was and there is a plan, Bongani. One, we must appreciate that to develop a landfill is not only dependent on the city or the entity. There's approvals that need to be obtained from the provincial levels all the way to the national level. So we've been with the process, we've been going through the process of those approvals as well. And unfortunately, they were not approved autonomously for us to be able to enable us to put some investment on the development of the new cells and so on and so on. Within the existing landfill space as well, and landfill facilities that we have as well, there are plans that we are looking at that will enable us to continue to operate for some time, so that we can, at least until such time a new cell is developed or new landfill is developed, we continue to have a space where we can dispose the waste that we collect from residents. I think we must also mention it, Bongani, as much as we have that challenge, there will always be landfills. There will always be waste to be collected. And with our stakeholders, we are also debating and talking about that this waste that we collect from residents must have a place where it can be disposed. And that's beyond any question to say that waste must be disposed in a manner that comply with all applicable legislation. Thank you.
I mean, look, and I've enormous sympathy with where you may find yourself in the, I suppose, chain here, the command chain in some senses. But I would imagine that if you are aware, and indeed you are warned about when a landfill site may no longer be operational, one gets those plans in terms of applications for the approvals you've mentioned. You get that process going long before the D-date arrives. And so when the D-date arrives, your excuse can't be that these processes take time, because unless you're saying something extraordinary has happened to delay the process, you would have known about it. But the greater question that I'm stuck with at the moment is whether it's relying on private landfills or private contractors because you have an aging fleet. It would seem, at least to the cynic, that this is all almost deliberate so that the entity or the city then relies on private providers to do what the entity and the city are meant to do. And that likely means, Lichani, somebody's scoring.
Bongani, I hear your angle, but I won't say it's by design that we are where we are. I think
it's not by accident.
But from my point of view, if I have to continue with Bongani, it's not by accident. Certain things did not happen as expected, but not by design that we are where we are. But it's the challenges that we experience. For example, I communicated to you last week when we engaged to say we haven't refleet for 12 months. However, we've been making
12 years. You said 12 years.
Sorry, 12 years. We haven't refleet for 12 years, but we have been submitting to our budget steering committee meeting to say, can we prioritize refleeting for pick it up? But however, because of competing interests, that did not happen.
Let me stop you right there, if I may. Please allow me. That's exactly what I mean by design. Something can't be a problem for 12 years and is not addressed for 12 years unless there are interests that stand to benefit from the status quo.
I get your angle or your point that you're putting it, but on our side as administrators, we won't say it's by design. We must then appreciate that requests were made, proposals were put forward, and because of competing interests, they were not honored, and we appreciate and understand. On our side, we continue to put the entities forward to say, can we put waste management as an essential service? Can we prioritize the refleeting within waste management so that at least we get to a point where we can have our own fleet? And as I said last week, that program of refleeting, unfortunately, is happening now at a time where we need a lot of money to refleet. But in the last 2 years, we have seen priority of fleet starting to be procured for our entity. I did confirm last week that around 25 units have been procured for us. And again, unfortunately, to refleet all at once. If you want 250 units, for example, at an average price of around 3.5 million. You multiply, you then realize that you need an investment of almost around 600 million all at once.
Which is why
which
why a problem like this cannot be left hanging for 12 years. Litsani Matsela, appreciate your time. The Pick It Up Chief Financial Officer, alongside Julia Fish, who is a Joburg Crisis Alliance Steering Committee member. All I can say to any Joburg resident listening to all of that, it is an election year. Vote, vote, vote.
EWN Business.
29 after 7 business news. Oil climbing, the price of oil. We're a record on repeat.
We're back here.
Right? US and Iran exchange fire over the Strait of Hormuz. There we go.
Yeah, Iran has claimed fresh attacks on Bahrain, Kuwait and Jordan, saying it hit U.S. military sites in retaliation for Washington's renewed bombardment of its southern coast. The U.S. attacks on southern Iran comes amid intensifying standoffs of the Strait of Hormuz. Iran and the U.S. again traded airstrikes over the weekend, with Tehran targeting U.S. facilities in multiple Gulf countries and declaring the Strait of Hormuz closed. However, President Donald Trump disputed the claim late on Sunday, saying the key waterway was open to commercial traffic. On the New York Stock Exchange, stock futures fell slightly on Sunday night as traders weighed the latest events in the Middle East. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 135 points. That was the same for the S&P 500 futures, as well as the Nasdaq, which houses mostly tech shares. So a lot of market movement this morning. Asia was the same. We saw a lot of markets fall there. The small cap Kosdaq fell around 2%. Japan's Nikkei also down 1.5%. The Topix was down. Australia's ASX 200 was also down, with mainland China's stocks also down this morning, reacting to that particular bombardment.
I suppose if you believe Trump, you might as well believe that that's really his hair and that really is his natural skin tone.
Don't know what to believe these days, but one thing to look at is the rand this morning.
Believe in the rand.
A bit weaker against the US dollar, 16 rand 37, 18 rand 67 against the euro, and 21 rand 89 cents against the British pound. Price of gold is also down this morning by 1% at $4,069 an ounce, while platinum is also reeling at $1,610 an ounce. Brent crude is up 5.4% this morning at $79 a barrel. More business after 8.
This Eyewitness News brought to you by Khaliks. Khaliks for the businessman who knows what he wants. Sfiso Zulu, let's start in Mpumalanga. How do people just get shot, Nje?
That's right, Bongani. Good morning. Well, police have revealed that a woman and 3 men are the victims of the latest shooting in Bushbuck Ridge. Provincial Commissioner Zef Mkhwanazi held a briefing just a short while ago to give more details about last night's shooting in Mkhutlu. Mkhwanazi says unknown attackers opened fire on 5 people at the entrance of an undisclosed premise. 1 person was critically injured and taken to hospital. The motive for the attack is unknown. Mkhwanazi says the investigation is still at an early but sensitive stage, and also acknowledged that Mkhutlu has been a challenging area for police despite an increased law enforcement presence. The Gauteng Health Department has condemned the theft and vandalism of infrastructure at Chris Hani Baragwanath Academic Hospital in Soweto. The department has confirmed the arrest of a suspect after being spotted on the roof of the main kitchen building at the weekend. Preliminary investigations indicate the suspect allegedly gained access through an unsecured plant room, and police have also linked the man to similar incidents of theft at other sections of the hospital. Department spokesperson Steve Mabona.
As a department, we appeal to members of the public to always respect and protect government property. Theft and vandalism of healthcare infrastructure compromise the service delivery, and it is compromising the patients at all our facilities.
Farmers are calling for faster foot and mouth disease vaccination campaigns, despite the Department of Agriculture already planning 2 annual vaccination drives in high-risk areas. Farmers-led group FMD Response SA says it welcomes the agreement, allowing the sector to independently procure and distribute vaccines. Spokesperson Andrew Morphew says the transformation of the disease, or the transmission of the disease at least, must be contained quickly. Bongani.
Countries that beat foot and mouth disease did it by vaccinating almost all their cattle in the shortest possible time. Allowing the private sector to procure and distribute vaccines is a major step forward. It'll speed up vaccination and strengthen South Africa's ability to control and eradicate foot and mouth disease.
New Agriculture Minister Willie Okamp announced recently that the sector can obtain its own vaccines. Morphew says the organization looks forward to collaborating between the department and other professionals in the sector.
Minister Okamp has shown a real willingness to work with commercial agriculture to find practical solutions to stop foot and mouth disease. A genuine partnership between the government and the private sector gives South Africa its best chance of beating this disease.
And Cuba's power grid has been restored after another nationwide blackout, the second in less than a week on the island. More than 65% of households in Havana, a city of 1.7 million, had their power restored yesterday. It was the fourth nationwide blackout in less than 6 months and the ninth since the end of the 2024 on the island of 9.6 million inhabitants. The Caribbean island is reeling from its worst economic crisis in decades, one made worse by the fuel blockade imposed by US President Donald Trump earlier this year as part of pressure campaign aimed at ending 6 decades of communist rule. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with showers expected today. The temperatures are at lows of 4 and 6 degrees, peaking at highs between 18 and 20.
There's queuing traffic on the N1 South leaving Midrand. That's due to a car stuck on the road. It's right on the N1 South near the Baklu interchange. Delays from New Road. There's also queuing traffic along the R21 South. This is in the Kempton Park area just as you approach the R25 exit. That's due to an accident. And then, of course, in Soweto, we still have got that road closure along Cliffsbridge Valley Road as well as Chris Honey Road. That's due to a protest taking place around this area. Mofolo South affected as well as Pimville. So please be on the lookout and use alternative routes.
The top story this hour, Mpumalanga police have revealed that a woman and 3 men are the victims of the latest shooting in Bushbuck Ridge.
Every visit to Khaliq's is an investment you make in yourself, your business and your bottom line. Because a well-fitted business suit says you're competent, respected and disciplined as a Khaliq's man, and everybody wants to do business with you. So pop in and discover everything from shirts, footwear and accessories to match, plus a tailoring service to ensure the perfect fit. And remember, nothing says you mean business quite like a Khaliq's business suit. Khaliq's, for the businessman who knows what he wants.
Welcome to Nando's Taste-Demonials.
It's the flavor!
Real reviews by real people. Nico from Kailami is in touch with his emotions. So when we asked about the Nando's Peri Peri half chicken and a single side for only $1.25, he said,
I'm sad. I finished it.
Nikos, ungawari. Because this chicken season has more episodes. Nando's. Oh, what a place.
There's a song that goes, money can't buy me love. And that's true. But then they told us all you need is love, which anybody with a mortgage will tell you most certainly is not true. Love won't pay your parking tickets or your student loan. It's also needy. It requires effort, availability, constant care. But more importantly, love requires time. And while money can't buy you love, it can certainly free up some of your time. Time to spend on the things you love, with the people you love. And if you're looking, maybe even time to find the one you love. That's why, after 50 years of investing, we've learned that time is the greatest gift of all. And the good news is, if you invest early, time gives you money. And then money gives you more time to do the things you love. And don't you love that about investing? Ellen Gray, long-term investing. Ellen Gray is an authorized FSP.
Famous for available staff, famous for knowledgeable staff, famous for always helping you with a smile. Now with 10 Chamberlain stores across Gauteng, our expert staff are here to help you with all your hardware needs. Paint, power tools, gardening, pet care and plumbing. Big on stock, strong on service, built on values. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
South Africa's moved from a crude importing nation to a finished product importing nation. Why is this?
We've lost a lot of the capacity and the ability to refine ourselves. What this provision is also saying is that we must have 70% of crude and 30% of refined product. But the problem is that 70% of crude still does not translate into diesel, into a bakkie.
Dr. Ernst Bullion, the head lecturer in supply chain management at IMM.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show is brought to you by Absa Rewards. Get double cash back depending on your rewards tier when an African team scores and wins at the FIFA World Cup 2026, courtesy of Visa. Use your Absa Visa card at rewards partners on match days to score. Join Absa Rewards on the banking app. Your story matters. Absa is an authorized FSP and a registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Morning 702, John here, Constantia Kloof. Pick it up. You failed us yet again. Your backlog has not cleared. That's now 3 weeks. Come on, pull up your socks.
Good morning, Bongani. I was a city councillor in the city of Joburg for many years and served on the Environment Committee. Pick It Up has known about an aging fleet. They've known about landfills getting full, and unfortunately the city didn't act proactively. When I served before 2021, there was huge discussions around procurement of new trucks, and it's mind-boggling that this hasn't been implemented. So it raises many questions in my mind.
Good morning, Bongos and the team and 72 lenders. You know, Bongos, it always boggles my mind as to the problem with Pick It Up. Why do they always fail to collect and we are expected to pay exactly the same amount every month? Sometimes they collect only once per month. Sometimes they don't collect the whole month, but you're still expected to pay the full amount.
So here's a question. Have we run out of ideas in our politics? The three frontrunners for the would-be mayor of Johannesburg exclude the incumbent. We know, of course, Helen Zille's campaign for the DA. Herman Mashaba has put his hand up as the leader of Action SA, and it looks like the ANC is likely to choose the Reverend Frank Chikane. The Sowetan makes a really interesting point that all the top candidates for mayor are pensioners, which perhaps on its own isn't enough to say they shouldn't run. But where are the younger people with newer ideas, fresher ideas? We asked the question earlier, is age just a number? Helen Zille, of course, has been snorkeling in potholes and clubbing. I mean, her campaign has certainly caught fire and some attention. Haven't heard much from Herman Mashaba. Will Frank Chikane, do you think, galvanize the youth vote and get young people excited to go and vote about the city in which they live, the city in which their dreams for their future will be built? Have we run out of ideas in our politics? And is that why we can actually have an official come on the radio and say we needed new trucks for 12 years? For 12 years, we didn't buy a single new one. And now 60% of our fleet isn't working. We have to rely on the private sector. We knew for years that our landfill sites were going to run out. We started the process. It takes a while to get the process, but it hasn't been done. And so here we are. Our landfill sites, 50% of them we cannot use, and so now we're relying on the private sector to help us out. But we knew about this years and years and years ago. But no, it's not by design. Not by accident either. What's the real reason then?
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance, a chance for you to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. First, 1,000 Rand for the answer, then later 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask Outsurance for 500 Rand. Maxi joins us today, and Maxi has today's answer. Maxi, put us out of our misery. What's today's answer?
Hi, Bronx. Is 52. 52.
52 is the answer. And tell me, Maxi, have you SMS'd out to get yourself a quote from Outsurance?
I am a member, Bronx.
Your biscuit. 1,000 Rand is coming your way. All thanks to 702 and Outsurance. Appreciate it. Maxi there says the answer is 52. So what's the question? Call us if you know on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
Cindy Paluta, I'm afraid not good news from the world of sport for South Africa from this weekend. Hey,
No,
good morning.
not at all, Bongani. Very sad weekend. The country mourning the deaths of two athletes, Bafana midfielder Jaden Adams and former under-18 Springbok rugby prop Luqobo Makwadini. Makwadini died of a heart attack while training with his French club on Friday. He was 20 years old, while Jaden Adams died on Saturday with no cause of death confirmed. His club, Mamelodi Sundowns, has postponed the team's departure for a pre-season tour. Sports Minister Gayton McKenzie.
We carry so much, our young people are carrying so much that you don't talk about, because we've always been told children should be seen but never heard. I want to say to everybody that feel pressed, that feel sad, I want to say to you that tomorrow will always be better than today, I can promise you. And I'm promising you, no matter how dark it seems, there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
World number one Yannick Sinner won a fifth Grand Slam title, the second at Wimbledon. Sinner came from a set down to beat Alexander Zverev 6-7, 7-6, 6-3 and 6-4.
Every the Grand Slam is different, a different story, different environment, different feelings before the tournament. For me, this one means a lot. It was a tough one after Paris, because last year was also tough. We put in a lot of work, sacrificing a lot of my time and everything to be in this position, so having this achievement means a lot to me.
On Saturday, the women's title was won by Linda Noskova. Tonight, the junior Springboks play England, the semi-final, the World Championships at 6:30. Coach Kevin Foote.
Yeah, I think we are very well prepped. The guys have trained very, very well. We're expecting another physical battle. We know they've got a good kicking game, England, and they've also showed some good attacking flair. So, yep, we're expecting another physical battle, but I think our pool stages have set us up really, really well for that.
In cricket, Brendan McCullum has stood down as England's test coach, but says stays in charge for the T20s and ODIs. And in MotoGP, Marc Marquez won the German MotoGP, his 13th victory on the German track, equaling Agostini's record for most wins at a single event and most victories at the same circuit.
The EWN World Cup Desk. The latest scores, the biggest stories, and the moments everyone's talking about.
Well, it's semi-final week. Tomorrow night, France against Spain, and on Wednesday, England plays defending champs Argentina. It'll be the first time Lionel Messi's ever played against England. Argentina need to win if they hope to be the first team to win back-to-back World Cups since Brazil did it in 1962. Well, England manager Thomas Tuchel revealed that Declan Rice had spent 3 days sick in bed before their 2-1 quarter-final win over Norway. Tuchel also wasn't entirely happy with his team's performance.
In general, I think it was not a high-level game. I think we had better games in general. We had a lot of momentum swings for both teams. So, yeah, full credit to the team. We found a way. We're in the last four. This is, of course, the most important.
Senegal has fired coach Papetiu. Senegal had hoped to be contenders at the World Cup after beating Morocco in the AFCON final. But after a disappointing World Cup in which they lost their opening 2 group games to France and Norway and then let a 2-goal lead slip against Belgium in the last 32, the decision was made. And FIFA President Gianni Infantino looking at the possibility of expanding the World Cup by adding another 16 teams for the 2030 tournament. He told Swiss media growing from 48 to 64 teams could make sense. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
From kickoff to the final whistle, this is the EWN World Cup Desk.
Smart business moves save money. Switch to Outsurance Business Insurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Here's Stephen from the Villa Rosa.
I was with my previous insurer for 8 years and then I switched to Outsurance Business Insurance. I'm very happy with the premiums and switching was the best decision we ever made.
Get a quote to switch and save today. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 0800 60,000. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
As we gear up for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk hosted by the City of Joburg, Sunday 26 July, we're inviting you to help us make a difference this winter. 702 Breakfast, Weekend Breakfast with Gugs Mhlungu, together with MES Homeless Shelter, is running a clothing drive. And we'd love for you to be a part of it. If you have pre-loved clothing, warm jackets, jerseys, blankets, toiletries, or any non-perishable food items, please donate them. Drop your items off at our 702 studios at 15 Fredman Drive, Sandton. Together, we can bring warmth and dignity to those who need it most. MES is a registered not-for-profit company that has been changing the hearts in the inner cities of Johannesburg, Cape Town, Gqeberha and Kempton Park since 1986. 702, let's walk the talk.
It's Harold Hotline. Pat on the line.
Harold, I'm panicking. I've been walking around the mall for 4 hours. I'm currently staring at a scented candle, a car tire pressure gauge, and a pack of batteries. Should I just get all of them?
Gee, Pat, you're not buying a birthday gift. You're building a lost and found bin.
I thought if I get enough variety, one of them had to hit the mark.
My friend, you're confusing a birthday with a roadside emergency kit.
The mall is closing in 10 minutes, Harold.
Good. Get out of there, click on Net Florist, get a beautiful floral arrangement and a personalised bottle of their favourite wine. Net Florist. It's easy to show you care.
Nedbank Business Ignite and 702 have been looking for small businesses turning real challenges into powerful solutions. So one business is going to walk away with 200,000 Rand in cash, complemented by strategic business support, mentorship and growth tools. You can catch 702 Breakfast with me, Bongani Bingwa, on the 17th of July. We will be announcing the winner of the Nedbank Business Ignite on 702. T's and C's apply. Nedbank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
EWN Traffic.
Catch up with the roads. It's 10 to 8. Amo, you were telling us about delays on the N1 a little earlier on. This is the N1 South. Have those been resolved?
Not
this
at all.
EWN Traffic, of course, brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask them for 500 Rand. Now you may speak, Amo.
Well, not at all, Bongani. We do have delays between New Road and the Bakru interchange. A car stuck on the road there causing these delays. There's also queuing traffic in Sunning Hill along Witkoppen Road approaching Rivonia Road while leaving Rand Park Bridge. Do expect bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N1 North between Beyers Nodia Drive and Winnie Mandela Drive. If you are traveling in Tembisa, we still have got that accident on the R21 South that happened near the R25. It's causing heavy traffic volumes. And in Soweto, the corner of Klipspruit Valley Road and Chris Honey Road, a complete no-go area this morning. This is due to a protest activity that's taking place in both the Mofolo and Pimville areas. So please try to avoid it at all costs. You can still use the Golden Highway towards the N1 exit as a result. We'll have more updates coming up. Do stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
To save money, you'll wait for the off-peak season to book that holiday. So why not spend 10 minutes getting an Outsurance car insurance quote like 37-year-old Lerato, who saves
$5.99. Outsurance, they are the best.
That's a whopping 599 Rand saving on Lerato's 2026 Kia Sonet. Do it now. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance saves 43-year-old Ilana an unbelievable 349 Rand on her 2022 Suzuki Jimny.
Yes, 349 Rand. And I dropped my previous insurer.
If you don't save, ask for 500 Rand cash. Or 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Savings or cash, you have nothing to lose with Outsurance. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance. Please tell me what's the question. If the answer is 52, let's go to Uri in Sandton. Uri, what's the question?
Hi, Bongani. The question is, how old is the singer-songwriter Deborah Cox turning today?
Yes, indeed. The Canadian songstress, R&B artist, Deborah Cox, turning all of 52 today. Uri, that is exactly the question. 2,000 Rand in cash is coming your way, all thanks to Outsurance and 702. She's known for a number of hits. Probably one of her most famous has to be Nobody's Supposed to Be Here. And have a listen to the story behind how that became a hit song for Deborah Cox.
Everybody wanted that record right there. A lot of people wanted that record. We went to Clive because Clive was like, yeah, I could hear Whitney Houston, you know what I'm saying, on this record. And when you say this song could go on Whitney Houston, we go to Clive, hey, if you're going to put it on Whitney, if you're going to put it on one of these other artists, let's go. And then Clive basically comes back and says, I'm going to do this record on Deborah. And I'll be honest with you, when I heard it was going to go on Deborah, I was like, when you got Faith, you got Whitney, you got all these, oh, come on. That was my initial thought because I didn't know Deborah like that. I didn't know how timeless, how big her voice was. I knew most of her, maybe a dance record or two from her. I didn't know, that she had the capacity. And I think she maybe knew that too. And so when she came in to smash that record, she left no doubt. She left nothing on the table, bro. She took everything and put it in her backpack and she crushed that record.
That's, of course, Montel Jordan, the R&B artist who wrote that song. I mean, Patti LaBelle turned it down. Whitney Houston turned it down. And Deborah Cox grabbed it with both hands. And the rest is history. Yeah, enough of the nonsense behind the scenes. What a great track for Deborah Cox. Now, you may not be able to drop the price of your child's school fees, but switch to Outsurance and you could drop your car insurance premium. You could save big, like 36-year-old Gil who saves a jaw-dropping 471 Rand a month on her 2025 Hyundai i2. Don't pay more than you need to. Get a quote from Outsurance to switch and save today. SMS out to 45142. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
If you're a fan of the beautiful game, you'll recognize this. And this. But what about this? It's your chance to score big time. Win your share of up to 2 million Rand with Standard Bank. It's game day every day. To enter, open and use any qualifying Standard Bank account, in-app or in branch. Already a Standard Bank customer? Sign up for Standard Bank Connect online to get a bonus entry. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
The Global Entrepreneurship Congress Africa returns to Cape Town from 16 to 17 September 2026. The continent's largest Pan-African platform brings together investors, policymakers, and entrepreneurs. GEC Plus Africa is powered by African Bank in partnership with the Western Cape Government, Microsoft, Amazon, Telkom, 22 on Sloan, and more. Register on gecafrica.co. GEC Plus Africa. Connecting Africa.
702.
702. What's gone viral?
With Kabazela.
Time now for the world of viral content. Kabazela.
Good morning to you, Belle.
Let's get on with the world of viral content. The one that got away.
So imagine you were walking into the shopping center
This would be so
you run into an ex of yours from 20 plus years ago, and they are with their daughter or son, and they say, "Hi, so-and-so, so-and-so, this is my daughter or son," and they give the name, and let's say it's the son, and the son is named Bongani. Oh.
That would be so awkward. That would be so awkward.
Very awkward.
I hope the other parent
So
of the
this,
said child knows the origin of the name.
Well, this is the debate here. So this daughter had posted a post on X saying that her mom ran into her ex from 20 plus years ago, and he was with his daughter, and she had the mother's name. And the comments here are basically, he obviously was so in love with her and loved the name, wanted her to have his last surname, but couldn't. So the next best thing was to have his daughter named after her. And the disrespect, people saying to his wife at this point in time, I wonder if she knows, etc., etc., etc. So quite a hectic thing. I mean, if you had to find that out, if anybody is out there and would be honest enough to say they named their daughter or their son after their ex, would be an interesting. But this is now the context here. I wanted to ask this question, Bongles. So it's not an ex that, you broke up with, and obviously there was animosity between each sides or whatever, somebody did something wrong. This is an ex that you broke up with because the timing or circumstances were not right for your love. You couldn't have a future love with them at that point in time because something happened. And I was listening to Clement's show on Friday, and Taba was doing it, obviously. The man phoned in. He said that he was in love with this woman in his early years, and she was in love with him, but they couldn't get married because her mother didn't want it to happen. So they went their separate ways. In his words, he ended up settling with a woman that he married and was in love with. She then died of cancer many, many years later. A couple of months after this wife's death, that woman that he was in love with many, many years ago called him out of the blue. A couple of years later, they end up getting married. So, I mean, how's those circumstances? All those years later, you end up meeting the person that you loved all those years ago, but weren't able to get married to, right? So that's what I wanted to find out from our 702 listeners this morning. Have you got a love, an ex that you had, but you couldn't have a future love with them because the circumstances
didn't allow,
were just not right? Maybe you met many, many years later, and you know, you found that love again.
All right, tell us about the one who got away.
702.
702. Feedback.
With Siamtanda Matiso.
Siamtanda Matiso is the one who got away?
No, there isn't.
Are you the one that got away?
Maybe I am. Listen. I know I sound like a hypocrite, but I would be so hurt if my child was named after my husband's ex. But on the other hand, I'm hoping he told her. I don't think so. I really don't. Yo. But hey, someone could surprise me. And even if she did, I don't think she would be happy with that.
Well, she would have obviously agreed if she... gosh.
It would be worse if that's the first name, not even the second name. But anyways. Many reacting to pick it up. Listen, Bongs, some haven't had their rubbish picked up for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm getting pictures from people in Joburg saying, I live in this area. Yep. Look at the dustbins in my area. Look at people are fuming.
They are fuming to the point that some have even hired private companies to help them remove their trash, Bongs. And it comes back to the Mafara situation in Limpopo that Alpha was talking about, that the community are taking matters into their own hands, and they are complaining about the fact that they have to pay tax, they have to pay for their rates. But what's the point if us as the community have to take matters into their own hands? And you also asked that question, is age nothing but a number? And that's because of the candidates that have been placed up by different parties. Helen Ziller being from the DA, Herman being from Action SA, and now Frank Chikana being placed up. And some are saying, actually, we need new people there, people with fresh ideas. But some are arguing, Bongs, that why aren't these young people advising?
Who are they?
Exactly.
Who are the young people? Where are the young people?
Yep.
Will these candidates get the youth vote out? You tell us.
This is EWN.
Police launch a manhunt for people behind the latest shooting in Mpumalanga, and a British man caught in Johannesburg will face murder charges in court. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Mpumalanga police are searching for people responsible for a shooting that left 4 people dead and 1 critically injured. Provincial Commissioner Zef Mkhwanazi says 3 men and 1 woman died when they were attacked in Mkhuhlu last night. Mkhwanazi says the unknown attackers opened fire at the entrance of undisclosed premises. He has acknowledged that Mkhuhlu has been a challenging area for police despite an increased law enforcement presence. The motive for the shooting is unknown. A group of frustrated men in Beggarsfort, Limpopo, have taken matters into their own hands by building a makeshift bridge across a swelling river so that residents can access healthcare. For decades, residents of Mafarafara village have relied on a raft to cross the river and reach their nearest clinic in another village. But after the raft broke, the men then built the makeshift bridge. EWN's Alfara Mushwana travelled to Limpopo and filed those reports.
A disaster waiting to happen. That's how many residents describe the newly built makeshift bridge in Mafarafara. With every step, the narrow structure bounces up and down, while the rushing waters of the Tubatse River brush against the wooden logs. Thin sticks serve as handrails, helping residents keep their balance as they navigate the crossing. Nkhetwa Malachi, one of the men who built the structure, says residents paid 20 rand for 2 trips across the bridge.
We built this bridge and did all the work ourselves, so it's only fair that people pay us to use it. All we ask of those who don't have the money to cross the bridge is that they don't bother us.
As he was speaking to EWN, 3 young men who couldn't afford to use the makeshift bridge stepped into the Tubatse River and slowly walked to the other side. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Begersfort in Limpopo.
Head of the Investigative Directorate Against Corruption, Andrea Johnson, has been confirmed as the next witness at the Madlanga Commission. Last Friday, 4 witnesses testified about alleged misconduct at IDEC. The commission heard that Johnson had a questionable relationship with tainted crime intelligence top officer Firoz Khan. Tabiso Goba has more.
In his testimony, retired Hawks Colonel Kobas Rulovse revealed that when Johnson was a senior prosecutor, she allegedly squashed an assault case laid against Khan. The Investigative Directorate Against Corruption was established to investigate and prosecute high-profile complex financial crimes. Its initial purpose was to be a force multiplier to the SAPS. However, the 2 government entities have had a difficult relationship, with their internal factional battles spilling into the public arena. More recently, IDEC issued arrest warrants for 2 senior SAPS generals, but they were later suspended because the pair formed part of the team responsible for ensuring security arrangements were in place for the 30 June nationwide protests. The commission will be probing whether there's criminal influence behind these factional battles. Tabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
And a British man arrested in connection with the murder of his wife and 2 daughters is expected to appear in the Johannesburg Magistrates Court today. Ndodana Chuma was arrested in Kensington on Friday in an operation between SAPS and Interpol. Chuma left the UK 2 days before the bodies of his wife and 2 children were discovered in their home in Bedfordshire. Justice Minister Mamluko Kubai has confirmed that Chuma will be extradited to the UK to face murder allegations. Nkosi Konamalinga Mnisi has more.
Mamuluka Gubai says Chuma was not flagged as a fugitive when he entered South Africa on the 5th of July. This was a day after he left Heathrow Airport, with British authorities saying he travelled via Dubai. Bedfordshire Police Detective Inspector Lee Martin says Chuma entered South Africa twice.
Mark Chuma left the country on Saturday, flying to Dubai and then on to Johannesburg. He then crossed from South Africa and then into Zimbabwe. We now know, since the previous media statement on Wednesday, he travelled from Zimbabwe to South Africa.
Despite this, UK police have thanked everyone who played a role in the arrest. See Konamalinga Mnisi, Eyewitness News.
Gold is trading at $4,053.19 an ounce. The rand is at 16.38 to the dollar, 21.93 to the pound, 18.69 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $79.30 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got a stop and go along the N1 South leaving Midrand. That's between Olifantsfontein Road and the Baklu interchange due to a car stuck on the road. There's also queuing traffic along the R21 South approaching the R25. That's due to an accident in the Tembisa area. And in your sports, Sundowns delay their departure but have not cancelled the pre-season overseas tour following the untimely death of midfielder Jaden Adams. Yannick Sinner wins a 2nd Wimbledon title and the 5th Grand Slam of his career. The Springbok side to face Wales will be announced later today, while the Junior Boks play England in the World Champs semi-final at 6:30 tonight.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 18 and 20 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Mpumalanga police are searching for people responsible for a shooting that's left 4 people dead and 1 critically injured.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
On Sunday, 26 July, 7:02 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk unites us all in the iconic Joburg CBD.
7:02
Walk the Talk. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
8 after 8. It is the start of a brand new week, a Monday morning. The story developing out of Mpumalanga. People being sought following a shooting that has left 4 people dead and 1 critically injured. We'll give you more details as we get them throughout the day. Stay listening to EWN and 702. Earlier, we spoke to our Alpha Ramashwana, who traveled all the way to Burgersfort in Limpopo, where some community members have taken matters into their own hands, building a makeshift bridge with rudimentary materials from corrugated iron, logs, sticks, and wire, and are now charging locals to use it because it's the only way they can access the only clinic in the area. It's a snapshot of so much of the dysfunction we live under, a community that is obviously suppressed, no jobs. That's why these chaps would have built this makeshift bridge and are now charging, but they're charging the people who are most vulnerable, who need access to a primary healthcare facility, a clinic. Typically, that's expectant mothers, that's the elderly, that's the sick, that's children. These are the people who would not be able to cross the river otherwise. And it's been known by local authorities for years that there isn't a bridge there. You've got to ask yourself, when they build a clinic next to a torrential river, knowing there's no bridge, what's the plan? Pick it up. Haven't bought new trucks in 12 years. In 12 years! 60% of their fleet is not working. That's why your rubbish is not being collected. And they knew about this for 12 years. I asked the uncle, I said, is this by design? So that maybe somebody can benefit and score off this. He says, no. I said, well, it's not by accident. He concedes it's not by accident. So is it by design? How do you, for 12 years, explain that you keep writing to people who make the decision to say, we need new trucks, for 12 years. 12 years! And nothing gets done about it. Now, all of a sudden, it's a crisis. How much do these trucks cost? 3.5 per truck. Per truck. They've got 223, I think, thereabouts. 60% of those, 141, are not working. The landfills. 2 of the 4 sites have been soft locked. They cannot be used. They were told, you will run out of space. So now they're approaching private providers to say, can we use yours? Yeah? So my belief, Mateo.
That explains the 12 years.
Is it by design? And we get told. Yeah, we asked you the question earlier. Is age nothing but a number? The top candidates for the next mayor are all pensioners. The ANC, we are told, is mulling over the idea of pushing Frank Chikane as its candidate. We've got Ugogo Helen. I mean, she does go clubbing every now and again and snorkels in potholes. So maybe that gives her some youth appeal. Uncle Herman Xolani Mashaba. He always calls me Xolani. Shame, poor thing. Is that who you want as your next mayor?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Is there one who got away? Kabazela wants to know. The one that you think, Yabona, one shushu day, on a dark and stormy night. Who is the one that got away? Are you the one that got away? Our viral video content. Parent and child meet an ex of the parent from 20 years ago, and their child is named after the parent. That would be so awkward, hey? Imagine there you are, Mutewa, with your family, and you meet a little Mutewa that you didn't know about.
As long as it's not
because
mine.
You were all of that. Because you were all of that in a bag of chips from 20 years before.
We all have a past. I think 20 years ago, you let it go. It's a thing you laugh about in the car and you keep it moving. I don't think it becomes a serious thing.
Here's the awkward question. When your spouse wants to tell you the origin of the name they want for your child, do you say yes? Guys. June, you're in Joburg. You discovered what?
Just to put a lighter spin on things. My husband and I were renovating our house in Parkhurst. And when we were stripping the cupboards away in the kitchen, I found a sealed letter that had obviously fallen behind a cupboard. Being sealed, of course, I opened it and read it. And it was a very formal letter from a person. He was in Simonstown in the Navy, had met this young girl, and he was formally asking her parents, permission for him to meet them and come for tea. And as I said, the letter was still sealed. And my husband, I just dissolved into tears about this. My husband said, I've got a very fertile imagination, but as I said to him, obviously, they never got the letter. So the young sailor, he probably felt rejected, so he probably joined the merchant navy. She probably thought that he didn't care for her, and she probably joined the nunnery, and that was the end of the love story.
Sometimes it just doesn't work out, hey, and you don't know why. And maybe those lingering questions, appreciate that call, June, maybe those lingering questions are really justified. Maybe there's still hope, hey?
Gabazela and Bele there, Flores here from a beautiful Western Cape. Names is special, it's personal. So there should be a rule that once you turn 18 that you can change your name if you want to, because it's yours, it belongs to you. And I work with kids, Bongi, let me tell you, there are kids who have these expensive names, and I don't think these kids cannot even spell their names. But then again, on a lighter note, your face should at least fit your name.
Good morning, 702 team. My uncle couldn't marry his first love because of religious issues, and so they decided to marry other people. And a good couple of decades later, I think like 40 plus decades later, after each one's spouse subsequently died, they somehow found their way back to each other, and they're now married in their 70s. So, yeah, I just think it's just amazing. So, yeah, that's my story. Cheers, that's TC from Boxburg.
Good morning, 702 Land. So with regards to Kapazela's story this morning, so in 2008, I met a guy while I was still in high school. I was in grade 10. We dated for like 6 years, and later, sometime when we were in university, we broke up because we were in a long-distance relationship and it wasn't working. Fast forward, we dated other people, both got married, had kids for like 10 years or so, and then we both divorced, and then we met again, and this past weekend we got engaged, and then I'm just happy to be back with the love of my life.
Oh, what a story, hey?
It escalated real quick.
Oh, have you got a long and winding road to love? Have you got a long and winding road story to how you found the one? Lost and found? How absolutely romantic, hey, Mateo? That story?
They gave it another shot. I think it's one of those one in a million.
It's a gush over it. No?
I think you should have gone for Amu for that.
EWN Traffic.
17 after 8, the CWN Traffic brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask them for 500 Rand. There are delays in the capital. Amo?
That's correct, Bongani. On the N1 South, right as you come out of the Flying Saucer interchange, an accident reported there. It's causing heavy traffic volumes. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 North towards Linwood while traveling on the R80 East Mabopane Highway. We still have got delays towards the Eskempatele exit. That's due to faulty traffic lights as well as peak time delays at this time of the morning. If you're heading towards Sandton, do expect heavy traffic volumes on the N1 South between Oliphantfontein Road and the
Ku interchange. There's also slow-moving traffic on the R21 South between Olifantsfontein Road and the R25. That's due to a major accident scene as well. We'll have more updates coming up. Do stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
25 minutes listening to your favorite playlist goes by, well, quickly. 25 minutes stuck in traffic, well, that feels twice as long. Thankfully, the Outsurance pointsmen are here to save the day. These heroes in green and purple have been easing traffic congestion for the past 20 years. The Outsurance pointsmen helping everyone get to where they need to be quickly and safely, and it's just another way you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702. Show them some love online. #pointsmanlove. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
You know when your people are giving their best, not because they're pushed or pressured, but because they feel supported. And support is making sure they're covered. So if something happens, they can get the care they need. FlexiCare Health Insurance makes it simple for every business to protect their people with affordable health cover. You care. We cover. For a tailored FlexiCare quote, speak to your financial advisor today. FlexiCare is not a medical scheme and the cover is not the same. FlexiCare is underwritten by Auto & General, a licensed non-life insurer and FSP, and administered by Discovery Health, an authorized FSP.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and really all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. This Wednesday, we're talking to MTN's Group Chief Sustainability and Corporate Affairs Officer, Nompilo Morafo. We do this to highlight efforts of companies and brands dedicated to building our country. Corporates That Care is a Prime Media Cares initiative with 702 and Prime Media Outdoor. 702, let's walk the talk and together make a difference.
You've always moved in living color because your greatness was never monotone. Now let the world marvel at you in the all-new Aura 5 SUV, crafted with modern design, luxurious interior, and intelligent tech. Make your next move in the all-new Aura 5 SUV, starting from only 364,900. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM, go with more.
702's Small Business Focus, powered by Capitec, shines a spotlight on the drive, passion, and dedication behind every successful small business.
You know, I think whenever I sit with an entrepreneur and marketing is the last thing on their minds as part of their strategy, and it's not part of their strategy, I'm in shock. Because the reality of it is we open up websites, we set up shops, and we hope that people will come, and people won't just walk in. You know, you need to be able to announce to those people that you are available and you are there to do business. So then marketing then becomes an essential element in your business, where it creates awareness of the business before you actually lead up to the sales. And they're intertwined, because you must first market to the people in order for you to actually get the sales out there. And people can't buy what they don't know.
Every Thursday between 6 and 8 p.m. Catch the Small Business Focus on 702 and bank on better business banking with Capitec. Capitec is an authorized FSP 46669.
702, The World View
with Adam Gilchrist.
All right, let's catch up with news from elsewhere in the world. A very good morning to you, Adam. Let's start with this deadly bar fire in Thailand. Dozens have died in the blaze.
Morning, Bongani. Yeah, we know that 27 people at least were killed. That's 9 men and 18 women. And even though the firefighters actually were there very, very quickly, 5 minutes or so, and they'd put the fire out in half an hour, but not quick enough for people, particularly those who'd gone to the back of the bar when the fire broke out, thinking they'd be safer in the bathroom. I guess there's that thing in your head, isn't there? Running water will be okay here. And that's where they found a lot of the bodies. There were also people emerging from the bar at the full height of the blaze on fire. And they had to have the flames put out by people outside the bar. Others were knocked unconscious by the smoke and again had to be dragged out. The deal is that there have been more stringent regulations on bars and restaurants in Bangkok and across Thailand generally, but are they being checked up on? Are the regulations actually being matched by the owners of the properties and indeed by the fire regulation officers? We know that there was a very bad fire 4 years ago that killed 22 people, another one in 2009 that killed 66 people, again in Bangkok. So are lessons being learnt would be the question. It's not, of course, going to be a question that the relatives of those 27 will be asking at this stage.
She was traditionalist, uncompromising, and a polarizing politician, Adam. But how did she die?
Yeah, Anne Widdecombe, the longtime British MP. She was an MP for the Conservative Party for 23 years, and then she kind of bowed out of politics and then came back for reform, not as an MP yet, but as an MEP. She was in the European Parliament, and she has been murdered at the age of 78. When we first heard Anne Widdecombe had died aged 78, we thought, oh, she was a game old girl. She'd played a good innings. But that she'd been murdered potentially by somebody who'd driven 300 miles from 500 kilometres, more or less, from one end of England to the other to Anne Widdecombe's country home in Devon to have killed her. That seems a very odd thing. And for police now to say they don't believe it was politically motivated. So it wasn't the more stringent right-wing anti-immigration policies that seem to have caused this. Just as a snapshot of Anne Widdecombe, she was very old school, almost like a Charles Dickens character, like a Betsy Trotwood, or maybe like Miss Marple, but slightly less likable. She was outspoken, she had a slightly shrill voice, she had a twinkle in her eye, which was certainly engaging. On Strictly Come Dancing on a Saturday night, she was a terrible dancer, and that kind of endeared her to a lot of people. She was that bad. She also came second in Celebrity Big Brother. So again, people kind of warmed to her in that environment. And yeah, she talked from the hip, but sadly gone at the age of 78. And through murder, it's an odd one.
She famously, of course, defended the shackling of prisoners in hospitals when she was the Minister of Prisons. Quite the career, quite the gal, as they say. Adam, now tell me about the most expensive dinosaur.
Potentially, it could be Gus, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, who's going up for auction in about 24 hours. It'll be officially an auction run by Sotheby's in America, but of course, online you can bid from anywhere in the world. You'll have to have a few pennies in your pocket, because the most expensive dinosaur to date was Apex the Stegosaurus, went for $44 million. The most expensive T-Rex before was $20-odd million, but that's 30 years ago. So Gus, the T-Rex, up for sale. He's 2/3 intact, so he's a very impressive skeleton. You know, the jaws are there, the ribs are there, the claws are there, the teeth are there, which is always a worry with the T-Rex. But who's going to buy him is the big question. If potentially he does go for something like $100 million, it could even be more than that. Could a museum afford to pay that money? Could a bunch of museums afford to pay that money? Or will he end up in private ownership? And there's just that slight feeling, you don't have to watch the plot of any of the Jurassic Park movies to know that there is certainly some outside private enterprise interest. There are quite a lot of billionaires in our world. Would they want a T-Rex on their back lawn? I hesitate to think, yeah, some of them might. And therefore, Gus could be lost to science and end up in private ownership.
Cue in Ben Stiller, right? And Midnight at the Museum. Adam, AI tells me the most expensive item ever sold on auction was at Christie's in New York in 2017 for a jaw-dropping $450 million. I think these are out of our league, hey?
Just get the feeling that we might not be bidding. As the starting bid for the Gus, by the way, is $19 million. Yeah, we'll need a whip round.
Yeah, no, they don't pay us quite that much. Adam Gilchrist with this morning's Worldview.
EWN Business.
From the most expensive dinosaur to the world's largest chip maker, reporting earnings that are robust, as you might expect. Muteo?
Yeah.
These guys are in the pound seats.
You know,
they might bid for this.
They have all the
dinosaur,
money to bid for it, of course. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company recording a 68% year-on-year rise in its June sales ahead of its second quarter earnings release later this week. The company's growth has been boosted by demand for artificial intelligence chips and infrastructure investments. Now, for the first half of 2026, TSMC's total revenue reached $75 billion, representing a 35.6% increase compared to the same period last year. The Taiwanese chip giant's shares also trading up 1% this morning. The world's largest contract chip maker manufacturer, does products for all sorts of companies, including Apple and Nvidia, as well as micro devices as well.
All right, so this is, what's the name of this company again? Is it NVIDIA?
NVIDIA.
All right. All prices climbing?
Yeah, oil prices have surged more than 5% this morning as the ceasefire between the US and Iran remains only on paper. Iran has claimed fresh attacks on Bahrain, Kuwait and Jordan, saying it hit US military sites in retaliation for Washington's renewed bombardment of its southern coast. The US attacks on southern Iran comes amid intensifying standoffs over the Strait of Hormuz. Iran and the US again traded strikes over the weekend, with Tehran targeting US facilities across the Gulf. However, President Donald Trump has disputed the claim on Sunday coming out from Iran that the Strait of Hormuz is closed, saying it is still open for commercial shipping. In the meantime, oil has risen to $79 per barrel, and of course, it will mean more pain at the pumps for petrol and diesel users.
All right, give us a snapshot of the markets so far.
Yeah, with that chaos going on, Bongani, in Asia this morning, the South Korean Kospi down 7%, below 7,000 points. The Nikkei in Japan down 1.5%. Australia's S&P ASX 200 also losing out this morning, while the mainland China shares were also down 0.5%. Looking at the rand this morning, also weakening against the dollar at 16 rand 39 ahead of markets open, at 18 rand 69 against the euro, and 21 rand 93 against the British pound. Price of gold is down 1.7% this morning at $4,049 an ounce, while platinum is at $1,597, down 2.5%. Brent crude, the biggest mover this morning, up 5.3%. It's $79 a barrel, closer to that $80 a barrel mark, and bringing us back to those higher inflation and higher energy price times. So yeah, we're not out of the woods yet. That's your morning business. Stephen Krotis with more this afternoon.
Straight to the news desk we go. Sfiso Zulu, he will no longer be singing for his freedom. He will not sing any aria. He will not sing like a canary. He's saying, hi, NPA. You're going to have to find this information yourselves. What am I talking about?
Well, Bongani, you are indeed talking about alleged criminal kingpin Vusmuzi Cat Matlala, who will withdraw from a plea deal with the NPA in his corruption case. Matlala informed the Pretoria Specialized Commercial Crimes Court this morning when he appeared. The court last week rejected his plea agreement, which proposed an effective 8-year prison sentence, finding it was not just. Instead, it proposed a sentence which will see him serve 12 years in prison. Despite Matlala's affidavit implicating senior police officers in the alleged corrupt award of a 228 million rand tender, the court found the proposed sentence was too lenient given his role in the fraud. The court this morning says the matter is now regarded as null and void. Johannesburg waste management entity Pick It Up says it has cleared the refuse collection backlog across the city, and following a strike by contract workers, the employees are demanding permanent employment, the same issue that has triggered similar strikes in the past. The disruption has left rubbish piling up outside people's homes, raising environmental and public health concerns. Pick It Up has acknowledged ongoing financial constraints and an aging fleet. The entity's CFO, Lishani Matsila, says it's working with the city of Johannesburg, which has committed funding to implement long-term solutions.
As far as we're concerned, the backlog has been cleared. There might be what we call isolated incidents where there might be being left behind, estate left behind, due to the fact that as we clear the backlog, we are no longer using the regular team that service the area. So that team might not be familiar with the area as well, and that led to one or two service points not be attended to, but we call that isolated incidents.
Farmers are calling for faster foot and mouth disease vaccination campaigns, despite the Department of Agriculture already planning 2 annual vaccination drives in high-risk areas. Farmers-led group FMD Response SA says it welcomes the agreement, allowing the sector to independently procure and distribute vaccines. Spokesperson Andrew Morphew says the transmission of the disease must be contained quickly.
Countries that beat foot and mouth disease did it by vaccinating almost all their cattle in the shortest possible time. Allowing the private sector to procure and distribute vaccines is a major step forward. It'll speed up vaccination and strengthen South Africa's ability to control and eradicate foot and mouth disease.
New Agriculture Minister Willie Okamp has announced recently that the sector can obtain its own vaccines. Morphew says the organization looks forward to collaborating between the departments and other professionals in the sector.
Minister Okamp has shown a real willingness to work with commercial agriculture to find practical solutions to stop foot and mouth disease. A genuine partnership between the government and the private sector gives South Africa its best chance of beating this disease.
And Russia has fired a wave of drones and missiles at Ukraine overnight, killing 4 people, while Ukrainian strikes on Russia and Russian-occupied areas of Ukraine have killed 5 people. The strikes came a day before Ukraine's allies are set to meet in Paris, and this is for talks on pressuring Russia to end its more than 4-year war. US-led diplomatic efforts to end the fighting have stalled in recent months as Washington has shifted focus to its war with Iran. The US has given Ukraine permission to build US-designed Patriot air defense systems that are capable of downing Russian ballistic missiles, but it may be months before they enter production. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng, with showers expected today. Temperatures are at lows of 4 and 6 degrees, peaking at highs between 18 and 20.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N1 South. This is between Olifantsfontein Road and the Baklu interchange. And if you're still traveling around the Soweto area, Mofolo and Pimville, we still have got those protest activities taking place within the Klipspruit Valley Road and Chris Honey Road. Please try to avoid that intersection at all costs. Then traveling on the N3 North bumper traffic between the Elands interchange and Van Buren Road.
The top story this hour, alleged criminal kingpin Vusmuzikat Matlala will withdraw from a plea deal with the NPA in his corruption case.
The countdown to Food Forward SA's Mandela Day Packing Event 2026 has begun. Join us Friday, 17 July, and spend your 67 minutes making a real difference. Together, we'll pack and sort groceries that will feed thousands of people facing food insecurity across South Africa. Be part of the action. Tickets are on sale now at webtickets.co.za. Food Forward SA, securing quality food, nourishing lives, in association with 702.
Welcome to Nando's Taste-Demonials. It's the flavor! Real reviews by real people. Dolly from Boertersig is vegetarian-ish, with a reputation to uphold. Here's what she whispered about the half chicken and a single side for $1.25.
What? I don't eat chicken, but for Nando's, I make the exception.
Well, good thing there's a salad on the side for appearances. Of course. Nando's. Oh, what a place.
What is your business here? You didn't start your business to play it safe. You took the leap, made the bold move, and now it's time to make the next one. This week, 702 and Budget Business Insurance are giving small businesses the chance to win their share of 100,000 Rand with the Budget BizBucks Bonanza. Enter on PrimeMediaPlus.com. Tell us about the boldest move you've ever made in your business and what your next one will be. Then get an obligation-free Budget Business Insurance quote. 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa could call you. Budget Insurance is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's apply.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Hey, how's it, Bongani? How's it, 702 fam? It's Stephen here, finally back after such a bad bout of flu. The dustbin issue. I mean, in my street, we have not had dustbins collected. It feels like forever. And because you don't know when they're going to come and you don't want to miss it, everyone's dustbin has been out for ages. I had to spend part of yesterday afternoon cleaning up the mess after a cat or something got into my outside dustbin. Overall, I just get the sense that no one's in charge. And isn't that the feeling? And isn't that the worst of it? That no one seems to be in charge of Joburg at the moment? Anyway, looking forward to coming back and seeing you later. Cheers.
Good morning. This is Clive. I think, yes, of course, I mean, there's going to be lots of talk on, the age, when it comes to the mayorship in Joburg. But I think Joburg is in a critical state. So I think it's better to have someone who's experienced to at least, stabilize things, at the current moment, because we're here anyway because of certain leaders that have run this city into the ground. So, yeah. So I just think we need stability and we need to, have things improved in our city. And I think, yes, of course, this city needs to be saved, you know. So I think that alone should tell you who to vote for or who you can trust, you know. Even this whole country as well needs to be rescued, you know. So, yes, we're in a mess as a country. And we must start somewhere, you know, to rectify all these mistakes and problems that we have.
It's very simple. We designed a system in which we said every 5 years we will go to the polls and vote for the people we trust to do the best job of running our country and our city. We're not helpless victims in this scenario. And we have to start thinking strategically. I am prepared for people whom I may not agree with all the time. There's no such thing as a perfect politician. You are possibly the only perfect politician you know. In other words, if you were running things, you would agree with everything you did 100%. Any other mammal is not going to meet your needs 100%. They're just a mammal. Right? Remember that. They are a mammal. So who are you going to vote for? The same old, same old? And it's not even that nobody's in charge. It's that they don't care. They don't seem to care. I watched the mayor of Joburg the other day giving briefings and saying nothing's wrong with the city's finances. Yesterday, I drove to the northwest, halfway to Sun City, all along Malibongwe Drive. The traffic lights were not working. It's a Sunday. It was a Sunday in the afternoon. The traffic light after traffic light after traffic light not working. I can't even begin to go onto the highways where the street lights are not working. We know about the potholes. We know about water, electricity, refuse removal. And he says, what are you talking about? There's nothing wrong with the city's finances. Good to hear that Stivovo has recovered well because, gosh, this year's cold, it knocks you out for weeks. I went through it April, end of April, beginning May. May was a rough month for me because of this cold. It's persistent, it is unyielding, and it just takes time. If you get it, be prepared to stay at home for just a little while because it's just one of those.
EWN Sport.
Cindy, you had a bout of it, didn't you? This flu that doesn't go away? No, you didn't?
No, not yet,
You haven't.
thank goodness.
Consider yourself lucky, hey? Consider yourself.
But I've got a lot of friends down with it at the moment.
Right?
Feels
It
like
just-
it's in everybody's chest.
Anyway, I'm glad I'm out of the woods. Sundowns, I think this is the right call from them as a team.
So the club has postponed but not cancelled the departure of their pre-season tour following the untimely death of 25-year-old Bafana midfielder Jaden Adams on Saturday. Sundowns are scheduled to play Salzburg, Dynamo Kiev, Cardiff City and Al Hilal. Yannick Sinner successfully defended his Wimbledon title with a 4-set victory over French Open champion Alexander Zverev, 6-7, 7-6 and 6-3 and 6-4. Here's Zverev.
I think overall, compared to where I was last year, it's obviously a very different championship for me. And of course, I would have loved to lift the trophy, but he was better than me today and he deserves to win. I overextended my knee again, similar to 2 years ago. And then I was struggling to push off on the serve a little bit. So my serve speed went down, but everything else was fine.
Springbok side to face Wales will be announced today. The sides do battle in Durban on Saturday. The Boks at top of the Southern Hemisphere section of the Nations Championship table, ahead of the All Blacks on points difference. Tonight, the junior Springboks play England in the semi-final of the World Champs at 6:30 p.m. Coach Kevin Foote.
We're very comfortable in the higher pressure environment, so I think the main thing is giving the guys clarity on how we want to play. If it gets tight, we also understand, what we're going to do about that. So, yeah, the guys are very well prepped, and I think that England have done really well in their pool. They had a very tough pool with Ireland, USA, and Argentina, and they've showed that they're a really good team to beat all those sides. So, looking forward to a very good match.
SA men's hockey team got a whitewash test series win over Malaysia, winning the third test yesterday 3-0. Brendan McCullum stood down as England cricket test coach as the team has lost 8 of their last 12 test matches. McCullum stays in charge of the T20s and ODIs. And at the Tour de France, Tadej Pogacar still has the yellow jersey 2 minutes ahead of Vingegaard going into stage 10. Yesterday, stage 9 was shortened due to intense heat. It was Mathieu van der Poel who won that stage. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
Joburg, it's time to to show up for our city. On Sunday, 26 July, join thousands of Joburgers for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk in proud partnership with Standard Bank. Walk through the heart of Johannesburg, celebrate its rich history, and experience the positive growth taking place in the CBD. As a committed partner, passionate about the growth of our city, Standard Bank invites you to be part of a movement that's helping build a safer, stronger, and spirited Josie for generations to come. Register now and take the walk that brings Johannesburg together. The 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, proudly partnered by Standard Bank.
Peregrine Capital presents Brian Habana's Count to 100.
In my journey to 100, it started with my first cap, then my second, 10th, 50th, 90th, 99th.
Brian Habana, his 100th international test.
You get to 100 one decision at a time. For 28 years, Peregrine Capital has applied that same discipline to turn 1 million rand into 100 million. Peregrine Capital. Invest in performance. An authorized FSP. Past performance non-indicative of future performance. T's and C's apply.
EWN Traffic.
All right, 16 minutes before 9. Let's wrap up the morning's traffic. Amo, it's been a busy one. How's the mist and the fog? Is that clearing up? Was it in the Midrand area?
It was in the Midrand area, Bongani, and it's cleared up. But now we've got delays along the same route, the N1 South, between Olifantsfontein Road and the Baku interchange. Now that's due to roadworks as well as a car stuck on the road along the route. Then if you are heading towards the Betterview area, do expect delays on the N3 North between the Geldenhuys interchange and the Elands turn off. There's also a bit of a delay reported on the N1 North approaching the N12 exit. Now that's due to an accident heading towards Netchirina. And then finally, we've got the protest activity reported in Soweto, Mofolo South and Pimville heavily affected there. As a result, Klipspruit Valley Road and Chris Honey Road are closed off to traffic. So please try to avoid these areas if you can. We'll have more updates at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
To save money, you stock up on 2-for-1 vitamin specials at the pharmacy. So why not spend 10 minutes getting an OUTsurance car insurance quote, like 48-year-old Adam, who saves
1,803 Rand. Big drop. It's worth going to OUTsurance.
That's an awesome 1,803 Rand saving on Adam's 2020 Audi Q3. Why wait? SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. OUTsurance saves 36-year-old Jill 471 Rand on her 2025 Hyundai i20.
471 Rand. I still can't believe, hey? Get OUTsurance. Extra pampering money.
Enjoy benefits like panic assistance that sends the nearest medical or armed response unit to you wherever you are. Get a quote to switch and save with OUTsurance today. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Licensed insured FSP. TCs and information online. Limits apply.
The countdown to Food Forward SA's Mandela Day Packing Event 2026 has begun. Join us Friday, 17 July, and spend your 67 minutes making a real difference. Together, we'll pack and sort groceries that will feed thousands of people facing food insecurity across South Africa. Be part of the action. Tickets are on sale now at webtickets.co.za. Food Forward SA, securing quality food, nourishing lives, in association with 702.
Coming up
on the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
Coming up on the Clement Manyatela Show between 9 and 12 is the man himself, Clement Manyatela. Firstly, my big thanks for sitting in the hot chair Thursday and Friday. I get so many messages saying, guys, no, I can't hear Clement at 6. It's too confusing.
Yeah, people
checking their clocks
Yeah.
and alarms. But here we are. What's on the
It's
show
a
today?
pleasure. So coming up on the show today, we'll reflect on the breaking news about Ket Matlala. It looks like he has withdrawn from that plea deal.
Remember the judge? The judge said to the NPA, hang on. You want to give him, what was it, 8 years?
8 years, yeah.
Because he's got so much information. And the judge's essential point was, so Luna, what do you do, Handy? When do you investigate? you are so reliant on these witnesses
And
and
what
their
he's
treasure
gonna say.
trove of information.
Yeah.
Luna, what do you do?
Well, the problem is criminals have become so sophisticated now. So they're
So
very
why, Luna,
clever.
why aren't
about
you
how they steal
sophisticated,
money.
Luna, the investigators?
Well, the criminals are always going to go ahead of us,
Mm.
you know, and investigators. Look, I'm one of those who felt I'm happy for him to take the 8 years, only on condition that there is going to be incriminating evidence. Like there must be at least over 20 top cops that are going to
get
jail.
nabbed.
Yeah. Otherwise, then no.
So now
ways.
imagine a scenario in which he actually walks away and there aren't any cops nabbed.
Yeah. See, that's
now the
price
real
then you pay.
Do you then say the judge was perhaps too harsh?
I also get where the judge is coming from because, I mean, this is fraud and corruption, right? You also don't want to send a message out there that, you know, when you do a crime like this and you can expose
Name
a few people and you
friends.
can walk out. Because even with
Wink,
8 years,
wink.
he's never going to serve 8 years. He's going to
Yeah.
be out on parole, probably after 4 years, 5 years
Yeah.
at most. So
And
we'll
then
talk
there's
about
Andrea
that.
Johnson today.
And then there's
at the
Andrea Johnson
Madlanga
as well
Commission.
at the Madlanga Commission. So we'll also keep a close
When
eye
are you
on
going?
that. You know, I must tell you a story one day because 2 seconds. I remember one time, oh my goodness, I never even told this to my listeners and I was planning to. When Mashazi appeared before the Madlanga Commission,
Yeah.
I got a message from someone who said to me, heads up, she's going to mention you. I had to call a meeting with our bosses here and say, oh my God, apparently
Do
I'm
you
going to
know
be
her?
mentioned. I've never met her. I don't know her.
you
Apparently
sure?
she was going to claim that I have received tenders from the Ekurhuleni government. And it made sense later because she was fighting with people. Remember, we do work as Prime Media. Sometimes Ekurhuleni gets us to come host OBs there. So she
yes.
saw me once doing an
At the
OB at
Birchwood.
Ekurhuleni at the Birchwood Hotel and said, yeah, Clement gets tenders from Ekurhuleni. It was, I mean, ridiculous. But you could tell that he was fighting with people who are clearly now in charge at Ekurhuleni and make these decisions. So I got so nervous hearing that I was going to be mentioned. So no.
So tell us, what are you wearing?
I was
Tell us about that
Hermes
watch.
shoes. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to be taking some Andrea Johnson testimony live at 10 o'clock from the Madlanga Commission. At 10:30, we're going to continue with our series that we started last week, looking at some of the stories that have embarrassed our government and our country. So we started with the Bushiri escape. Today we're looking at Thabo Besta's escape. And then at 11 o'clock, we wrap up the show with our Family Matters feature. Today we're discussing the disconnect we sometimes feel from where we come from at home due to trauma. So there are people who don't like going to visit their home where they grew up because they experienced trauma there. So how do you heal from that? That's our chat.
Clement Manyatela, so much packed into those 3 hours between 9 and 12.
Jozi is moving. People are showing up. Communities are stepping up. We see you, Jozi. Asambe. ABSA is proud to partner with 702 Walk the Talk on 26 July. Thousands will take to the streets of Jozi CBD and celebrate what makes this city iconic. Visit absa.co.za/702 Walk the Talk. ABSA is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Welcome to Nando's Taste-Demonials. It's the flavor! Real reviews by real people. Nadine from Belito is no scallop, but she did call the flame-grilled half chicken in Nando's unique peri-peri recipe with a single side of your choice for $125 dope. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, sorry. Relax, Nadine. The only thing we're busting here is your hunger. Okay? Nando's. Oh, what a place.
Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Oh, South Africa.
Detectives, I need your final guesses. I thought Busiswa, but I'm gonna actually Lady Zamar. I'm gonna go with Lamiz.
I'm gonna stick with Mampo.
Mampo.
Thinking Moonchild.
Locking in Moonchild.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, South Africa. It's Linda
She had the judges absolutely befuddled.
They're
She had them bamboozled. The Masked Singer, the latest, of course, to be unmasked, is Linda, who is with us. Linda Mtoba, the lady monster on The Masked Singer South Africa, having been eliminated from the competition. How are you feeling, first of all?
I feel fantastic to be free from secrets, one. But I'm sad to go so soon.
I mean, just give us a sense, because I think perhaps people don't understand how the show is put together, the secrecy that's involved, and how people mustn't know it really is you. I think there are probably like 5 people that know it really is you, including the crew.
Yes. It was so shocking because I thought I knew they said it's gonna be very top secret, like no one's gonna know who you are. I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. I get that it really is top secret, no one's gonna know. Like literally ushered into corner to corner, room to room, guided by like guards, like 7 people, like a guard of armor. I was like, oh wow, this is very serious.
I mean, did anyone in your circle, as the season started, guess that it could be you? Were you getting texts and SMSs saying, hang on, Lady Monster, why Kari?
I think
why Ingati?
Why Ingati? Oh, yeah, or not. It was my friend daughter actually who had a bit of she had an inclination that it was me. She's just like, she's really singing like one of her daughter's favorite songs. And the way this person acts crazy, it looks like Auntie Linda.
So, The Masked Singer, why did you agree to do this competition?
For my kids, to be honest. They absolutely love the show, and so do we as a family. So I figured, what's the best way for them to actually be immersed in their world, but myself being in it?
Be cool.
Be cool. It was so nice. They were ecstatic. It was literally just to see their faces when they see me.
How hard is it to adjust to your kids finally beginning to understand who you are out there in the world?
That is a very good question, because it's actually quite hard to navigate, to be honest with you. And I've done the best I could on my part to shelter, especially my daughter, from my reality of the work that I do. But I felt like it's a lot of other people actually impart that onto her more than it is myself. So she'll be telling me, like, Mommy, you're a celebrity. I'm like, who told you that? It's always someone else who told her, and never actually coming out of my mouth. So I think people actually remove a lot of that shelter of the bubble of child being a child, and them not knowing who the parent is, what they do for work, and just letting them be innocent in the world. It's removed quite early from her.
Is it tricky? Do you ever sort of bite your lower lip when you think about, I mean, you love the work. I mean, obviously you're amazing at it, but you bite your lip and you think, gosh, what will this mean for my kids to really come to grips with how the world sees you?
It's quite difficult to navigate, in the sense that even now, but I want to say the plus of it is that we have YouTube Kids now. So Outwards has very limited screen time.
Yeah.
But when she does watch YouTube's videos herself, so she understands the notion of people just making videos for making videos. So I just am popular on TikTok. That's what I've said to him. Like, oh no, they know me from TikTok. That's what I say to her, literally now.
Right,
so
because
it kind
she
of has
understands
helped.
that.
Yes.
Now that the mask is over, the biggest memory, biggest lesson that you'll take from this experience?
Was how free it was to just be on stage and not be me. And just have a good time without a face to it, of just being someone else for a day or two, and just enjoying that. Was very liberating.
Because in a sense, people have preconceived notions of who Linda is, right? And so when it's behind a mask and they don't really know what it is. I mean, was it fun that the judges didn't know who you were?
It was absolutely fun. I was petrified that Stella also means he would hear my voice, because I actually speak to them. But Stella kept saying, I know this voice, I know this voice. I'm like, thank goodness you don't know it enough to say it right now.
No, because it's not only your singing voice that they hear. I mean, they hear snippets of what you have to say. And so the recorded bits, you know, and even what you say, they know if they're familiar with your voice, they can.
And they really, and I saw them being so quiet, like they literally got so quiet and they listen attentively. I'm like, don't listen so much, keep talking. Like, why are you guys so focused on this voice? Just keep talking to one another, have a giggle and giggle and gaggle over there. Don't need to focus so much on my voice.
We love to have fun with what we call our rapid fire questions.
Oh, okay.
So we want you to answer as quickly as you can.
Ooh, alrighty. Fingers crossed.
What first comes to mind. Some of them are easier, some of them are harder.
Okay.
But you'll decide which ones, right? Here we go. Do we have some music? Let's play some music in the background.
I can sing my song if you want me to.
Drama to add to it. That's fine. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Favorite South African artist right now?
Uncle Waffles.
Acting on Isibaya or The River?
Ooh, Isibaya. Oh, The River.
So which one?
The river.
You sure. Your go-to comfort food?
7 colors.
Braids or wigs?
Wigs.
Formal or casual?
Formal, I enjoy.
Best place to visit locally?
Durban.
A song that always lifts your mood?
Ooh, that's a tough one. It would have to be... What song do you listen to in the morning? Oh my gosh, with my daughter. Oh, Pink. Cover me in sunshine.
Okay.
Giving me good times. Yes.
What's harder for you, writing or performing?
Performing.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Night owl. Please wake me up at 2 a.m. rather than today, like it's 4 o'clock in the morning.
Books or podcasts?
Books.
Sneakers or heels?
Sneakers.
Call you or text you?
Call me.
Marvel or DC?
Ooh.
Come now, be very careful. Think very carefully about
Marvel.
your answer. Yes, there we go. There we go. Comedy or drama?
Comedy.
Your go-to karaoke song?
It is go-to karaoke. That's a good one. What is my go-to karaoke song? Okay, I do have one though.
You could be one of your
It's
own.
Beyonce.
Which one?
It'd have to be Beyonce. Cater to You.
Okay.
I just know start to finish.
Celebrity crush alive.
Oh my gosh, it's brand spanking new. Thank you for asking me this question.
Ooh.
It's a brand spanking new. I don't even have crushes. The first time I've ever had a crush on anyone is right now. It's this the Nigerian goalkeeper. What a handsome man.
Okay. Celebrity crush now dead, now departed.
Teddy Pendergrass.
Okay. All right. Movies or series?
Movies.
Do you want to play a villain or the hero?
Villain.
Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
Breakfast or dinner?
Breakfast, any time of the day.
Ordering in or cooking?
Cooking.
Head or heart?
Heart.
Sweet or salty?
Salty now, but not really, to be honest. This one is a bit of a tough one. I used to love sweet stuff all my life, and then lately, it's the age. It's like now I just don't like it that much.
Savory
Yeah,
now.
but I don't like savory that much either. I'm still trying to fight my sweetness.
So maybe you're more of a sour?
Sour, yes, that's a
Or
good in between.
spicy?
Spicy in between.
Sour
I
or
am moving
spicy?
towards spicy. That's true.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Summer or winter?
Oh wow. The adult me wants to say winter because you can layer up and be warm. In summer, you can be butt naked by the beach and you still be hot, blistering. So, summer for good times.
Rihanna or Beyonce?
Beyonce.
Whitney or Mariah?
Ooh. Who's writing these questions?
3,
Oh,
2,
Whitney,
1.
Whitney.
Pirates or Chiefs?
Neither.
I don't like anymore. I thought we would get along. That's why you're the latest singer to be unmasked. All in good fun, Linda Mtoba. Congratulations on an amazing career.
Thank you.
Amazing influence, amazing energy.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for coming in.
Thank you for taking the time to have me today. I really enjoyed myself. Thank you so much.
We're enjoying the new season of The Masked Singer. I think this competition is getting better and better and better.
702.
More than a radio station.
Let's walk the talk.
And that's all the time we have for you today. The Clement Manyatela Show starts now.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sviso Zulu. Alleged criminal kingpin Vusmuzi Kat Matlala is withdrawing from a plea deal with the NPA in his corruption case. Matlala informed the Pretoria Specialised Commercial Crimes Court this morning. The court last week